Chapter 126. Isn't this the beautiful agent? She appears again. Hasn't the girl Gia been contained? Why did the light screen start playing again? Has a new containment appeared? That's not right. Every time a new object appears, there will be a text introduction. Above the light curtain. Task Force, Village Fools walking in a manor. Natasha Romanoff and Steve walked in front. Although this manor looks ordinary. But Natasha Romanoff and Steve had a hunch that something was wrong with this manor. Moreover, since it is related to Ion in the dream. This place can't just be a beautiful manor. At the moment. Natasha Romanoff frowned. Steve saw her expression and said, "Xiao Na, did you smell it too?" Natasha Romanoff nodded. Yes, a pungent smell similar to fish. The crowd walked through the fish market. The fishmonger hit the fish with the stones in his hands. The fish was smashed to pieces, but he still didn't stop. His eyes were fixed on Natasha Romanoff, without blinking. Natasha Romanoff walked forward, the man's eyes still locked on her. This manor looks beautiful, but I always feel something is wrong. Especially this fishmonger. Yet, his eyes looked like a zombie, and he smashed the fish. How can I sell it? It's a bit scary. It reminds me of a horror movie. In the light curtain. The group continued to move forward. A drunken man walked towards them. Steve suddenly became alert. Walk forward. The drunk almost touched him. He stepped back and looked Steve over with red eyes. Ah, you, hiccup. You must be outsiders. Are you spies? Or, from the broken church? The drunk staggered. Steve, we are not spies, nor are we from any church. Please, do you know? Before Steve could finish, the drunk interrupted him. Well, I don't think you are. I know what you are looking for. The drunk tapped Steve's shield. Then he walked in front of Natasha Romanoff and stood very close to her. I just want to say, don't look for answers you dare not know. Natasha Romanoff stepped back. Steve stood between the two of them. Sir, with all due respect, we are not here to play riddles with you. If you have nothing else to say, we'll take our leave. After that, Steve was about to leave with the others. Suddenly, the drunk grabbed Steve's arm. That force. That surprised Steve. Monsters in the fog, howling their secrets. After saying that, the drunk let go of Steve. He poured wine into his mouth and left humming a song. Steve patted himself on the back. The scene just now made even this veteran, a veteran of many battles, feel extremely weird. Monsters in the fog, howling their secrets? What does that mean? Steve pondered. Xiao Na, do you have an answer? Natasha Romanoff shook her head. I don't understand either. But I have a hunch that the drunk guy wasn't talking nonsense. Steve pondered for a moment, then raised his head. Let's go look for the monster in the fog. He put up the shield. Natasha Romanoff nodded and turned on the safety of her gun. Let's go. The manor is very big. The group walked for some time. Finally. Ahead, fog appeared faintly. Steve held the shield across his body. Everyone, stay alert. They continued to move forward. Steve couldn't help but think about it. He invites Falcon to join the village fools to investigate this unusual manor. But I don't know why Falcon felt an instinctive revulsion. He also muttered strange things. Things like the shortness of flesh and blood, mechanical ascension, etc. As the crowd continued to move forward, the fog became thicker. The rain began to fall without warning. In front of everyone, a group of children were gathering together. They seemed to be playing a game. Steve relaxed a little. Everyone walked over. The kids found them. Before Natasha Romanoff could ask them a question, they fled in all directions. The speed is amazingly fast. Steve watched them disappear into the mist. At the moment, Natasha Romanoff suddenly said, "Come here." The camera follows Natasha Romanoff's gaze. Let everyone see the thing that originally attracted the children to watch. It was a large dead dog. At first glance, Natasha Romanoff thought the kids were just looking at the dead dog out of curiosity. But, upon closer inspection, Natasha Romanoff immediately covered her mouth. There was a look of shock in his eyes. Just see. The dead dog's skin was peeled off alive. Torn to pieces by something. The flesh on his body was torn apart, revealing large pieces of bones. It's covered with human teeth marks. The internal organs were almost eaten out. If so, this doesn't mean anything. The ground was covered with bloody footprints left by the children who had just escaped. Natasha Romanoff took a deep breath and tried to remain calm. Those kids just now were sharing this dog. FK. I thought these kids were cute at first, but they ate a dog alive. My Labrador saw this and ran 8 feet away from me. Something's wrong. It's getting weirder and weirder. Could the monster in the fog be referring to them? What on earth happened to this manor? It feels like it's cursed. S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick Fury trembled all over. I knew it. How could the Foundation be so kind? They call it an investigation, but they are sending them into danger. But Nick couldn't blame the Foundation. After all, he is greedy too. He also wanted to take this opportunity to build closer ties with the Foundation. Moreover, who knows, maybe this investigation will yield something truly extraordinary. But, there are Foundation agents here. There shouldn't be any big trouble, right? Nick comforted himself in this way. In the light curtain, the group continued to move forward. Suddenly, Natasha Romanoff looked back. But there was nothing but thick fog. Steve's expression was serious. Natasha Romanoff, did you feel it too? Well, we're being followed. Other agents feel the same way. But no one showed any intention of backing down. Just be more vigilant. Suddenly, an agent was stunned and stopped where he was. Natasha Romanoff asked with concern, "What's wrong with you? Are you feeling uncomfortable?" The man was trembling all over. His eyes were bloodshot. "I don't feel well." The next moment, the agent's eyes swelled up instantly. His mouth opened so wide that it even tore his cheeks. Natasha Romanoff felt a chill run down her spine. She sensed danger and jumped away instinctively. "Be careful." Under the light curtain, Humi smiled slightly. "Ah, it seems that Ion is also getting anxious. Hehe, the ridiculous carnal church." He turned his head and looked at Tony, who was studying the containment, and opened his arms. "When the god appears, the broken god will set everything in the world on the right track. Flesh and blood are weak, and machines will ascend." Chapter 127. Boom. Huge amounts of explosions were heard. That agent, like a grenade made of flesh and blood, it exploded instantly. Brains and internal organs were splattered everywhere. None of the agents around were spared, their bodies covered with viscera and blood. Fortunately, Steve set up the shield in time. Helped Natasha Romanoff block the blood splatter. Otherwise, both of them would be affected by these filthy things. Looking at the shield covered with disgusting sticky liquid, Steve's expression was serious. He looked around vigilantly. But he didn't find anything unusual. "Shit, I watched that agent suddenly become abnormal, and then exploded." "Me too. It's like someone put something inside him. What secrets does this place hide? It feels like these agents have been manipulated. I don't know if you have ever seen the abomination in urban legends, a kind of flesh-tainted, divine existence. This weird place reminds me of it." "That makes sense. This manor is likely to have been contaminated by something, which is why it has become like this. I bet all these agents will have to die here." Camartage. Ancient One's pupils suddenly shrank. She saw it clearly. Kill the agent's stuff. Not reality bending, and not magic. It is similar to some originally existing ability, such as control over flesh and blood. A person or thing with this ability can directly kill an entire team of agents. Why not do this? Whoever killed the agent must be extremely powerful. What is his purpose? Even the Ancient One, who has lived for hundreds of years and is knowledgeable. They all developed a strong curiosity. She found out. During the most recent containment inventory, the term Supreme Godhead appears frequently. Could this village also be related to this Supreme Divinity? The Supreme Divinity represents the strength of which class? It's the Dormammu kind. Or, the 5 abstract gods? S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick was horrified when he saw this scene. He recalled the agents he had killed. Dragged into the abyss by the terrifying old man. Captured by an unspeakable person, tortured. He couldn't let Natasha Romanoff and Steve go through the same mistake again. Regardless of whether it would cause the Foundation's wrath or not. Nick is about to stop their actions. Then, Nick dialed the number. "Hey, Chief," Steve breathed. Nick shouted anxiously, "Now, I order you to stop the action immediately and return to S.H.I.E.L.D. The person on the other end of the phone hesitated for a moment. "I'm sorry, we can't do that, Chief. I have a feeling that we have to investigate this matter no matter what." Steve on the other end of the line had a sense of mission shining in his eyes. It's as if, somewhere in the dark, there is an existence that he longs for very much, which fills him with passion and attracts him to move forward. Natasha Romanoff also said, "Director, we have deduced that the thing that killed the agent has the ability to kill all of us. In other words, that thing is likely forcing us to move forward. Sorry, Director, we have to leave." After saying that, Natasha Romanoff hung up the phone. Hello? What the hell?" Nick sat down on the chair weakly. He leans his head on his head like a thinker. In the light curtain, Steve shook the blood off his shield. Here he looked around. Still nothing was found. He knew that the person who had just killed the agent must be watching their actions all the time. That person's behavior seemed to say, "You are at my mercy." Steve knew there had to be a reason why that man hadn't killed him and Natasha Romanoff. Since the moment they stepped into this strange manor, they have become puppets at the mercy of others. They had no choice. Steve took a deep breath and said, "Keep going." We walked a little further. Nothing unusual happened. The surrounding environment became increasingly quiet. But for Steve and Natasha Romanoff, the sense of danger was growing stronger and stronger. They were fully focused and did not dare to let their guard down at all. Suddenly, Steve and Natasha Romanoff felt a tingling sensation at the same time. They began to tremble all over. Nick Fury's pupils suddenly shrank. Will they explode like that agent? At the moment, inside the Broken God cult base, Tony Stark, wearing a giant radiation-proof armor, studies the abnormal objects contained in the base. Mr. Bronze was standing in the middle of the collection. Seems to be very interested in those things. After recent research, Tony discovered these anomalous objects seem to be connected in some way. Mr. Bronze was also attracted by this connection. See this scene. Humi could hardly conceal the almost crazy excitement in his eyes. "I feel this beautiful divine aura. I feel it." He opened his arms. After so many years, the great Snake Father will finally reappear on Earth. How can the beauty of gears and machinery be compared to that disgusting filthy flesh and blood? Ion. You and I have fought each other for so many years, and in the end, I won. He walked outside with his hands behind his back, looking at the trembling Steve and Natasha Romanoff on the screen. "I could have destroyed this ridiculous manor you built, but I didn't. When God appears, I want you to watch with your own eyes as the Snake Father destroys everything you built. The Snake Father will kill every believer of the Church of the Carnal Desire. Then, he will give the filthy Dragon Mother to." Homie slowly clenched his fist, as if he was holding Ion's heart. The words haven't finished yet. Suddenly, the base shook violently. Homie was stunned at first. Then, he felt that strong divinity. Suddenly, his beautiful face was replaced by a crazy smile. I feel it, ha 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 ha." He ran back into the base. Snake Father is about to reappear on Earth. Tony took a few steps back inside the base. He looked at the several anomalous containment objects, which were combined together in a weird way. In the basement, those artificial mechanical parts that had been prepared long ago began to throb. Chapter 128. Steve and Natasha Romanoff. I felt a tingling pain all over my body. The people under the light curtain saw that they were different. I thought they would be blown to pieces like that poor agent. But after a while, Natasha Romanoff and Steve returned to normal. And what they saw, there has also been a complete change. Moreover, the picture on the light curtain, it became Natasha Romanoff's first-person perspective. So the people under the light curtain can also see what Natasha Romanoff sees. Those proud peaks aren't the point. I saw that the colors around me had changed completely. Just like a Van Gogh painting. Those buildings are not made of lime and bricks at all. But it was a large, wriggling lump of flesh. From the holes on their bodies, a pus-like substance constantly oozes out. Their eye-like organs stared at Natasha Romanoff and others. The ground was a hard substance made up entirely of rotting flesh and blood. No wonder Natasha Romanoff always smells something similar to the unclean. Drainage ditch beside the house. What is flowing is a black viscous liquid. Can't help but remind me of the twins. Everything here is made of flesh and blood. Except, it seems, Natasha Romanoff and Steve. Other agents cannot see this truth. Oh my god. So this is what this manor really looks like? It's all made up of twisted living flesh and blood. I have goosebumps all over my body. If I were there, I would be so scared that I would pee. Oh my god, that house is so white. No, that house is so big. Oh my god. That octopus is oozing pus. Ugh. I can't stand it. So, the previous scenes were all lies? Could it be a cognitive hazard? They couldn't see it before, why can they see it now? Camartage. Although Ancient One was mentally prepared. But see this scene. She couldn't help but stare. She had also dealt with enemies who were able to taint humanity with their flesh magic. But to turn an entire area into a complete paradise of flesh and blood like this, the person who started it must be extremely powerful. Moreover, this type of ability, whether it is magic or something else, is probably borrowed. Just like the Ancient One's magic came from Vishanti. Many powerful abilities are not something that ordinary life forms can master. That's why we need to borrow. And where did the person who turned the manor into this state borrow the power from? Could it be the supreme deity mentioned before? What kind of existence is the supreme divinity? Will it be possible to reach the heights of Trinity Vishanti? Ancient One didn't dare to think any further. One Dormammu was enough for her to worry about. Natasha Romanoff's chest heaved violently. She didn't know why she and Steve were the only ones who could see this. What made her even more uneasy was, she didn't feel any fear at all about this bloody scene. Instead, I am full of yearning. Suddenly before. In the distance, a very tall entity in a robe was walking towards this side. He held several chains, to which were tied some unknown creatures. Natasha Romanoff took a closer look. Those weren't chains, they were bloody intestines. The creatures looked similar to dogs, but had 6 legs, grey skin, and needle-like teeth. Moreover, apart from the bloody mouth, it has no facial features. Steve said seriously, "Retreat." Everyone immediately evacuated in a direction away from those creatures. But one agent ran too slowly and was caught by the creatures. They used their needle-like teeth to peel off her skin alive. She screamed until the creatures devoured her lungs. Steve tried to save her, but it was too late. In the eyes of other agents, they just saw that a few elementary school students shared the agent. Steve tightened his grip on the shield. Damn! He felt like a cowardly deserter. His expression became extremely serious. Let's go, let's catch the culprit behind all this. As the crowd continued to move forward. Suddenly, in the fog ahead, a huge humanoid creature 4 meters tall appeared. Natasha Romanoff's pupils suddenly shrank. She immediately yelled, "Be careful!" Although the creature's steps were strange, its speed was surprisingly fast. Just like a weird species. It has pale, flabby flesh, and a face consisting of a huge amount of mouth with many rows of teeth. Its 3 fingers were covered with viscera and blood. It grabbed an agent with its big hand, then put his head into its mouth and started chewing it with a crunching sound. Steve gritted his teeth. He would never retreat again. He rushed forward with a shield in his hand. Natasha Romanoff pulled out her pistol and shot at the monster. And, behind the crowd, on the ground made of flesh and blood, suddenly, several red, huge amounts of tentacles rose from the ground. He rolled up several agents at the back and quickly forced them into a very narrow hole. Screams and the sound of bones breaking were heard. Oh my god, there are such horrible monsters in this place? What will happen if they run outside? No, I think the real threat is the one who started it all. If he made this place like this, then he can make the whole world like this. In any case, these agents will probably all die here. Their weapons are completely ineffective against monsters. These monsters remind me of the unclean ones. Do you think the him in the Red Sea world is related to the monsters in these manners? I don't think so. The world in the Red Sea object didn't become a flesh and blood world? And the unclean ones don't have mouths. No matter what, I suspect that the real reason why this manor has become like this must be related to some powerful existence, just like the Red Sea thing. In the light curtain, Natasha Romanoff fired desperately. The specially made bullets can penetrate the monster's skin when hitting it, but cannot slow it down at all. Steve smashed its feet hard with his shield. But it doesn't seem to have much effect. The other agents fired bullets into the tentacle. When the tentacles are hit, they howl and burrow back into the ground. But there are too many of them. Moreover, it will appear in random locations. Many agents were grabbed by the tentacles and forcibly pulled into the small hole. They died in agony. And Steve was caught by the monster. It opened its mouth wide and was about to bite Steve in two. Not far away. A tall figure in a black robe walked towards this side. "Fight, you flesh-hungry humans, Great Asia!" Suddenly, he felt a powerful energy. He looked up suddenly. In the air, a gorgeous gilded flame flashed across the sky. The other side. Broken church base. Those anomalous containment objects are assembled. With Mr. Bronze as the main body, an extremely abstract existence is formed. Then, accompanied by a strong earthquake, those man-made objects were attracted to this entity and became part of it. The staff in the base fled desperately. But many people were smashed into pieces by the falling ceiling. Humi opened his arms excitedly. "Ah, the great snake father!" Chapter 129. In the light curtain, Steve was grabbed by the monster. It's about to be put into the mouth and bitten into two pieces. Steve struggled with all his might. However, his body transformed by super serum was still not enough to face the filthy creatures of flesh and blood. That monster is about to bite. Just at this moment, a gilded flame streaked across the sky. Then, a powerful beam of light came towards the monster with a bang. A moment. The monster was reduced to ashes. Firth landed on the ground. The dogs and tentacles immediately changed their targets and attacked her. S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick clutched his chest, gasping for air. Fortunately, Firth arrived in time. Otherwise, Steve would really die there. Fuss should be able to take care of them, right? Firth's body was surrounded by powerful energy. There was a strong light shining in his eyes. Those dogs and tentacles are extremely fragile to Captain Marvel. Firth wiped them out in no time. At the moment, the very tall entity in a black robe stretched out his hand. On his hand, the extremely filthy flesh was coagulating. What a beautiful creature, become a part of Yaldabaoth. That mass of flesh and blood attacked Firth. But, it suddenly stopped in the air. I saw that the entity and the filthy flesh were wrapped in scarlet energy. Then, Wanda manipulated the origin magic power and easily controlled the entity, forcing him to his knees. For the evolved Wanda, it is quite easy to deal with enemies of this level. At the moment, the entity roared, "Let me go! Let me go! I am the great warlock Ion! You bastards!" Under the light curtain. Wow, the people from the Foundation arrived just in time. Captain America was almost eaten. These two are really strong. So far, they have helped contain a lot of objects. Fortunately, although this manner is weird and disgusting, it is not that powerful and terrifying. This man in black robe is the mastermind behind this, right? Excuse me, I don't think he is that strong. It's not that he's not strong, it's that the two of them are too strong. They were facing a reality twister that could change the laws of physics. In the light curtain, Steve gasped, prying the hands that were gripping his body apart. Natasha Romanoff also got up from the ground. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. At the moment, the Grand Warlock Ion on the ground was swearing madly. He constantly emphasized that he was Ion and that they should worship him. Wanda looked confused. Is this the man behind all this? This is different from what I imagined. At the moment, Natasha Romanoff frowned, observing Ion. Then she shook her head, I don't think so. He is the yarn in my dreams. Fuss was immediately confused. What do you mean? The Ion in your dream? Steve nodded. I agree with what Ziona said. I don't think he is the yarn in my dream either. Let me explain, Steve said. Both Cortana and I had dreams about an unknown being, and then we heard a mysterious voice that didn't belong to any known language. Ion Wanda thought for a moment, in other words, you dreamed of a being who called himself Ion. Natasha Romanoff, you can understand it that way. Ion gave me a feeling of mystery and power, and this person. Ion kneeling on the ground was very angry, you bunch of lowly bastards. I am Ion, open your dog eyes. Fuss nodded, I understand. This person does not seem like a strong person who can control other people's dreams. In this case, I understand what is going on. Natasha Romanoff suddenly became very curious. Did you investigate privately? Firth, yes, but I was invited by the Foundation to investigate. There are many manners like this in the world. I have completely destroyed many of them just now, which is why I am late. And in each manor, there is a black-robed man who calls himself Ion. Natasha Romanoff's eyes widened. She suddenly realized. Firth continued, the groups in these manors are called the Church of Sarkic. They believe in the great warlock Ion, and Ion seems to be committed to bringing a god back to the world, but I don't know which god it is. The Church of the Carnal has been quietly developing such manners all over the world, using sleight of hand to cover up the truth and lure unsuspecting people in to become part of the flesh and blood. Natasha Romanoff pondered for a moment and said, so, these fake Ions are just used to manage the security of this manor. Steve nodded, Xiao Na is right. Suddenly, Wanda thought of something. Firth overlooked a very important point. And this is the truth that connects all of this. Just when Wanda wanted to say it, a ground made of flesh and blood. Suddenly it trembled violently. Those houses made of flesh and blood were twisting their bodies in extreme restlessness. All the creatures in the manor screamed and fled in all directions. It seemed as if something big had happened. Natasha Romanoff and Steve. I suddenly felt a strong sense of uneasiness. They looked at each other. Wanda immediately wrapped them with origin magic power to prevent any critical situation from happening. At the moment, under the light curtain. FK, did you feel it? I feel it. An earthquake is coming. Everyone, find shelter quickly. What happened? Ah, help. Even in the sky, inside the SHIELD spacecraft. The agents also felt the vibration. Nick's expression was extremely serious. Such a strong earthquake has never happened in history. If this happens, let alone the entire city, I'm afraid the entire beautiful country will be destroyed. Could it be that a new containment has appeared? Camartage. The Ancient One opened his eyes. Here, she didn't feel the earthquake. However, she felt the birth of divinity. It's just like the feeling she got when Wanyu Angel spread its wings. Suddenly, Ancient One frowned. All along, the mysterious Supreme Godhead appeared in the light curtain. Is it finally coming? Above the light curtain, the camera turns. Just see. A huge amount of metal objects, about 100 meters high. It is moving forward in an extremely weird way. Behind him, man-made metal objects are constantly absorbed into his body and become a part of him. He is extremely huge, but incredibly fast. Moreover, he seems to be moving towards a specific goal. He quickly rushed into the city. High-rise buildings were destroyed in an instant. The metal object inside was sucked into his body. And those screaming humans were not spared either. They were all sucked in and crushed by the countless wriggling pieces of metal. Almost instantly, half of the city was destroyed. And this metal object is still constantly growing. S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick shuddered all over. What the hell is this? He couldn't help but think of the immortal evil lizard that could continue to evolve. Nick still remembers the horror of it vividly. And this thing in the light curtain seems to have even more amazing destructive power. As long as you absorb metal objects, you can constantly grow bigger. And in this world, there are metal objects everywhere. Flesh and blood manner. Firth felt it clearly. The thing in the light curtain is coming towards this side. Every moment, thousands of lives are lost. Without hesitation, she flew into the air immediately. Wanda followed. Camartage. The Ancient One opened the portal. This time it went very smoothly. She came directly above the huge metal object. No matter what, she will take action again. On the other side, looking at the huge amounts of metal objects, Magneto Eric smiled slightly. So much metal. This containment is just what I want. He flew into the sky. Go towards the direction of the metal object. On the ruins of the broken church base, Homie came out. He looked at the light curtain in the air and opened his arms. The beautiful face was full of madness. Do you see it, Ion? The broken god will crush everything you have built. And you can only watch it happen. Chapter 130. At the moment, Tony Stark climbed out of the ruins wearing a broken mecha. He dismantled the mecha and climbed out with difficulty. He was coughing violently. Damn it! Sahumi! The rage in his eyes seemed to consume him completely. Tony stumbled over. He grabbed Humi's collar made of luxurious silk and said, "Damn it, you fooled me. It's not Yaldabaoth at all." Humi smiled slightly, his eyes turned cold. He just waved his arms slightly. He pushed Tony 8 steps away. "Please be careful with your words, Mr. Stark, I did not deceive you, it is your enthusiasm that guides you to bring the Great Snake Father back to the world." Tony stood up tremblingly, "It's just a false god. The divinity that I feel does not exist in this false god." Tony's hands were covered by armor. The palm cannon is aimed at Humi. Humi heard the word false god. His eyes turned cold. He instantly appeared in front of Stark and grabbed him by the neck. "I've told you, Mr. Stark, please be careful with your words. I don't like the name of false god. It is the divine projection of the Snake Father." He slammed Tony to the ground. Humi walked forward with his hands behind his back. "Our broken church has existed for so long. How can an outsider like you judge our understanding of the Snake Father?" Then, Humi showed his usual crazy smile. "The divine projection of the Snake Father will destroy all the remaining bodies of Yaldabaoth. Ridiculous Ion. Everything you do is in vain." In the light curtain, the false broken god ignored everything and moved forward like a bulldozer. Destroyed everything in its path. It should be said that she did not deliberately destroy the city. It just blocked his way. And this false god doesn't seem to have the ability to think. The army's artillery fire bombarded his body. But he did not stop at all, nor did he fight back against those troops. Just keep moving forward towards your goal. Just note that those artillery fire bombarded the body of the false god. There is no effect at all. Logically, his shell is made up of various man-made metal objects. It should be very fragile. But the artillery fire did not leave even the slightest trace. On the contrary, the tanks and vehicles that were run over by him, they all became a part of his body. Ancient One arrived first. Soon, Firth and Wanda also came here. They did not exchange pleasantries. Because countless people die every minute and every second. The Ancient One unleashed its full power. The mark of Dormammu appeared on his forehead. The barrier formed by magic surrounded the false god who was nearly 300 meters tall. But, as expected, the magic barrier was shattered in an instant. The Ancient One controls the sword Vishanti. Hacked at the false god. Suddenly, a powerful light slashed into the body of the false god. Countless metal objects fell. Wow, it works. As expected, this magician doesn't appear easily, but when he does, he's a king bomb. Great, it seems this monster is not invincible. We are saved. However, the destroyed parts of the false god returned to its body almost instantly. The Ancient One was shocked. At the same time, Firth and Wanda. At the same time, powerful energy is released. Red, orange and scarlet light poured into the body of the false god. A large number of metal parts were shattered. Part of the false god's body was visibly destroyed. But, for a moment, the destroyed parts returned to his body. No matter how these three men destroyed the metal on his body, he can absorb them all back. Wanda looked serious. She took a deep breath. Then, he opened his eyes. The scarlet light flashes. She planned to use the reality-distorting power of Origin magic power to destroy his body. Wanda yelled. Origin magic power, almost covering the entire body of the false god. But, the next moment, Wanda's pupils suddenly shrank. The power of reality distortion has no effect on him. At the moment, Eric arrived. He looked at the three men pouring their energy towards the false god and smiled. He raised his hands. Leave anything related to metal to me. Ex-college. Logan and Eric have never gotten along. But if anyone can take on this huge amounts of metal monster, it's Eric. There was actually anticipation in Logan's eyes. And, on the other side, Humi's expression turned serious. Why is there this old man who can control metal again? His look. There was actually a hint of worry. Chapter 131. Ah, Magneto is here. It's him. The mutant who killed the metal bear single-handedly. He can definitely destroy this metal monster. Ha ha ha, the person who created this monster actually overlooked Magneto. He just ran into the muzzle of his gun. Humi looked at the light curtain with a serious expression. He didn't know Eric's specific strength. Logically speaking, the divine projection of the broken god should be very powerful, at least it should not be affected by the so-called mutant ability. Great God of brokenness, please go forward. Your strength is undoubtedly powerful. Humi said this, as if to cheer himself up. He saw, on the light screen, Eric reaching out his hand towards the broken god. There was also a hint of panic in his eyes. And on the other side is Eric. Release all your abilities. He felt the countless entangled magnetic forces. Ah, he roared and twisted his hands. Want to destroy the metal monster completely. But his hands stopped at their original positions, unable to move at all. This feeling. It's like lifting a dumbbell that exceeds your strength limit. Suddenly, a look of fear appeared on Eric's face. No. How is that possible? There is only one possibility for this situation to happen. That is, the mechanical monster's ability to cohere metal instantly killed Eric's ability to disintegrate metal. That is to say, this metal monster is not even on the same level as Eric. Eric couldn't slow him down even a little bit. Eric tried again to stop the metal monster from absorbing more metal. But he couldn't even do this. The Ancient One's eyes suddenly fixed, even Magneto can't hurt this monster at all. She thought to herself. The Ancient One knew that this divine monster was completely unconscious and acted entirely on instinct. In other words, he did not deliberately block Eric's ability. In this case, what other methods can be used to deal with him? The most powerful magician, the most powerful reality warper, the most powerful warrior in the world, could not harm this divine monster in the slightest. The Ancient One looked at the eye of Agamotto on his chest. Is it really going to be used this time? Humi saw that Eric's ability was completely useless against the broken god. Immediately, he was overjoyed. Snake Father, you are truly the supreme. Now, any ability, including reality warping, has no effect on the broken god. Then, nothing can stop him from moving forward. Moon. Loki frowned deeply. It seems that nothing can stop this monster. If that red-haired girl couldn't do anything to him, even Zhao Zena from the Foundation and the little witch girl can't do it. Loki thought so. A look of displeasure appeared on his face. As far as he knows, this thing was not made by Chaos Insurgency. They already have a lunar engine, no need to build another world destroyer. What if this monster really destroyed the Earth? Then, doesn't the lunar engine lose its meaning? Think of this. Loki stood up. He was going to take action. Never let your great plan fail. So, Loki disguised himself as someone else. Prevent the people of Asgard from seeing you through the light curtain. In this case, the secret of his faked death would be exposed. Loki prepares to open the portal. Just at this moment, he saw it on the light curtain. The girl Gia is standing right in front of the metal monster. She looked a little shy. However, facing the huge metal torrent that almost covered the sky and the sun, there was no sign of fear. Loki was stunned. Isn't this the reality warper? Then, he chuckled a few times. After the death of its boss, the Foundation became so stupid. Didn't they realize that reality benders have no effect on this monster? Haha, hey. Looking at the light curtain, Loki's smile disappeared instantly. Just see. That metal monster is about to crush the girl Gia. She shielded her head with her slender arms. It seems. The next moment, she will be crushed. But the metal monster reached a range of 15 meters around her. Those man-made metal objects on his body. It began to degenerate at an extremely fast speed. Ancient One quickly protected Gia with a magic barrier. Those metals fell down with a crash. Like a waterfall made of metal. See this scene. Humi's pupils shrank suddenly. No, how is it possible? Why would the great Snake Father be affected by a mere reality twister? Suddenly, Humi thought of something. It was hinted on the light screen that this girl, Gia, was the descendant of the supreme deity. Could it be, this is the reason? The Serpent Father is also the supreme divinity. His divine projection is naturally not as powerful as his original body. The girl Gia's reality distortion ability is equivalent to the level of supreme divinity. Could this be the reason? Foundation. Humi clenched his fists tightly. His eyes were full of bloodshot. In the light curtain, the metal monster didn't seem to notice that its body was falling apart. Still running towards the girl Gia. His bottom line has completely collapsed. The upper part fell down and was also affected by Gia's ability, turning into metal fragments. Huge amounts of metal waterfalls fell from the sky. It hit the ground and scattered. Absolutely spectacular. Soon, the huge metal shell disappeared. The core inside, the part with Mr. Bronze as the main body, also scattered. Those anomalous containment objects disintegrated and returned to their original state. The Foundation task force that arrived earlier immediately began the containment work. Not long. All items contained have been contained. The girl, Jia, also left with them. Let City Slick take care of the rest. Although this is a bit of a workload, I'm sure Nick won't mind. At worst, he can come and help clean. That's all. The crisis of the false god is officially over. Wow, the girl Jia is really beautiful and kind. I thought at first that as the #1 reality bender, she would be the most terrifying, but I didn't expect her to save the world. Ah, I really want to join the Foundation, so I can see the girl Jia every day. Come on, someone like you can only be a D-class personnel. Hey! The last containment item has been counted. Next, there shouldn't be any more containment items, right? No more, right? Homie's arms trembled. He couldn't believe that the broken god was destroyed just like that. How is it possible? How is it possible? Great Snake Father, damn Foundation! The Snake Father would have destroyed everything that Ion had built. Stupid Foundation, did you think that if you destroyed the Snake Father, Ion would not do something to this planet? His eyes were filled with incomparable anger. But the next moment, he immediately returned to his gentlemanly demeanor. Humi smiled elegantly, it's okay. I'm sure the Foundation won't sit idly by and watch Ion. They have already started investigating those manners. Next, I will let the real Snake Father return to the world. He will bring order to this universe and all universes. After saying that, he glanced at the unconscious Tony Stark. Hehe, thank you for your contribution, Mr. Stark. When the Snake Father really reappears, you will be very surprised then. Amidst the laughter like silver bells, Humi walked away. Until it disappears. A long time passed. Just when everyone thought that the inventory was really over, the light curtain suddenly lit up. Inventory of the top 10 divine objects 10th place. Chapter 132. Ding, congratulations on completing the inventory of anomalous containment 166, Girl Jia. Reward, 10,000 billion points of transmission value. Ding, since you have completed the popularization of all reality distortion containments, you have now received an additional reward, transmission jump. Qin Yu frowned immediately, what does transmission jump mean? Your range of communication has leapt to the DC universe. Qin Yu's breathing suddenly stagnated, DC universe. The DC universe with Grandpa, Joker, and Wonder Woman. Yes. Qin Yu almost jumped up with excitement. Not only because there are many famous people in DC, the spread value will increase exponentially by 1. More because Qin Yu is a big fan of Batman. He really wanted to know what would be Grandpa's reaction if he saw what was on the screen. What if the containment invaded the DC universe? So how should the various superheroes respond? What secrets are hidden in the Wall of Origin? Can we break the dimensional wall and allow people from the Marvel universe and the DC universe to meet? It's exciting just to think about it. If we don't consider the divine containment that will appear next, which is even more terrifying and mysterious than the reality twister. Well, the days are getting better and better. Next. Qin Yu uses the large amount of accumulated transmission value. Purchased a large spread. Ding, your transmission range in this universe has been increased. Now it covers the entire universe, then. Qin Yu used the remaining spread to draw all the prizes. All in. Ding, congratulations on obtaining level 6 reality distortion resistance. Congratulations on winning. Somewhere in the universe, Thanos sits on his beloved throne. He touched his purple pleated chin. This action made Ebony Maw, Black Dwarf, and others beside him tremble. They've been following Thanos for a long time. Now, Thanos remains silent. This means he is suppressing his inner anger. Ever since that mysterious curtain of light appeared in the sky. And when Thanos's men were helpless, Thanos entered this state. No one knows what that light curtain is. Why, with the level of technology that Thanos possesses, he can't do anything about it. Even its source cannot be found. This made the overlord of the universe feel very embarrassed. It has always been Thanos's turn to conquer. Anyone else wants to go against him? Destroy. But today, Thanos suffered the greatest humiliation in his life. This made him feel worse than killing several of his men. And Thanos can't show anger. After all, he is a king. He said in a deep voice, Ebony Maw. Yes, I'm here. Ebony Maw hurried forward. He tried hard to hide his trembling voice, but failed. He was very panicked. You, go study that light curtain and find out what it is made of. Yes. Ebony Maw immediately flew towards the light curtain. But, suddenly, the light curtain suddenly became larger. This time, people all over the planet can see its contents clearly. Ebony Maw trembled and said, My lord, I didn't do this. At the moment, the images began to play on the screen. Let's start with the first inhabitant, the shy man. Until the last containment, the girl Jia is finished. Played it in its entirety. Qin Yu's communication value is also rising rapidly. At the same time, Earth. A huge amount of monster, made up of thick blue lines, is wreaking havoc. A man who looked very much like the last man in the Korean country roared and rushed towards the monster. His extremely strong body burst out with amazing power. With just one punch, the monster was blown away. The monster screamed. Just wanted to get up. A woman who looked very much like Angelina, holding a blade that glowed white. The monster's head was cut off with one blow. Well done, Sheena. Xena smiled, looking absolutely beautiful. You're not bad either, Gilgamesh. At the same time, a fat black man, a man who looked a lot like Homelander, was also walking towards this side. These people are the Eternals. The monster just now was a mutant. They are all lives created by the gods. Definitely, the mutants were an accident. This is also why the Eternals were sent to Earth. At least, that's what the Celestials told them. At the moment, the fat black man saw the bodies of the mutants. Suddenly, he fell to his knees with a thud. Started crying. Gilgamesh immediately stepped forward to comfort him. What's wrong with you, Phastos? Wow, 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 I was thinking about the sins we have committed over the years, especially the 2 missiles that humans dropped on Xiaori. It is such a sin, such a sin. The next moment, the mutant's corpse seemed to be stimulated by these words. He jumped up in anger and stabbed Phastos in the heart. Phastos looked at it in shock. Not long after, he died completely. Reunited with the souls of those innocent people in those little days. Sheena yelled angrily. An axe appeared in his hand. The mutant's body was chopped in half with one axe. Then, light shot out from Homelander's eyes, completely burning the body. Gilgamesh gasped, why can a headless corpse attack people? Maybe they are starting to evolve. Xena looked at the light screen worriedly. Now, anomalous containment is becoming more powerful and more terrifying. However, the celestial gods showed no intention of letting them go home. The mutants began to evolve again. The situation is not optimistic. DC Universe. Gotham City. In the darkness, a few hooligans were secretly trading flour. Suddenly, little did they know that their every move had already been seen by Batman hiding in the darkness. Just as Batman approached them quickly and quietly, a light curtain suddenly appeared in the sky. It makes Grandpa look especially bright. Grandpa's fist just stayed in the air awkwardly. The gangsters were shocked. They all fled. Fortunately, my grandfather subdued them all with his powerful skills. He looked up at the light curtain. I saw a few lines of text appearing on the screen. Inventory of the top 10 divine objects, 10th place Leviathan. The other side. Wanda entered the gate to another world. Her brows were furrowed. Look at the chains that bind the devourer of worlds. The crack further expanded. Almost broke completely. It seems that the devourer of worlds will finally wake up. Chapter 133. Woohoo! On the Unity, there was the merry sound of Rocket. He was sitting in the cockpit. Control the spacecraft forward. Behind him stood the other Guardians of Galaxy members and the Cecilia people. It's amazing. This driving system is very complex. However, it can only be operated by one person. Moreover, the cab is so large that there are no seats for other people to sit on. Because solidarity is too large and too complex. So, Cecilia and Guardians of the Galaxy. Even with the help of text and robots, it took a long time to gain a basic understanding of the various systems of the Unity. They plan to drive the Solidarity back to Earth first, and then conduct research together with the Foundation. Otherwise, they will stay here forever. That's all. After a final discussion, the spacecraft is driven by a rocket. Rocket was busy lighting it on the console, debugging various data of the Unity. Although the Unity is a little shaky now, it is still moving forward steadily. The captain of the Cecilia people held the back of Rocket's chair and said, "I didn't expect that a raccoon like you would have the ability to fly a spaceship." Rocket suddenly became very panicked. I don't know how to drive. I just kept pressing buttons randomly." The captain was shocked. "What? Everyone, squat down." "Ha ha ha." Rocket laughed. "I was kidding you. How could I not know how to fly a spaceship?" At the moment, Star-Lord felt a little bored. He looked at the complicated panels and suddenly felt itchy. He rubbed his hands. "Look at the biggest button." Suddenly pressed it. The next moment, the head of the spacecraft. Suddenly a huge amount of cannon barrels stretched out. Then, boom! Extremely hot energy poured out from the barrel. It seems that the universe is illuminated. This beam of light accurately hit a small planet. All I heard was a loud bang. The small planet was hit by this shot. It collapsed directly with the place where it was hit as the center. The next moment, powerful energy bursts out from the surface of the small planet. Boom! The little planet exploded completely. It turned into a huge and gorgeous flame. Then, the powerful explosion pushed the remains of the planet towards the Unity. The rocks hit the hull of the Unity hard. Everyone suddenly felt a huge shock. Fortunately, the Unity was extremely strong and nothing serious happened. Not even a scratch left. The planet that was destroyed was very small. But, no matter what, it is possible to destroy a planet like this with one shot. The power is too strong. Inside the spacecraft, Rocket roared, "Quill! Are you really that impatient? What if this is a self-destruct button? We'll all die here. UBD. I think you're the real troublemaker." Quill felt guilty, scratched his head and said nothing. However, Rocket thought again, since there are so many interesting weapons and functions on the Unity, why don't we experiment with these small planets before reaching Earth? What do you think? Rocket looked at the captain. The captain thought for a moment and said, "Your idea is too bold. There is a possibility that life exists on that planet. Moreover, although the Unity is powerful, it is also very dangerous. These things cannot be described as fun. I am Groot." Groot spread out his hands. "Come on, look." Rocket said, "Groot agrees with me too. Drax, I think so too. Now we can't see the light curtain, and we don't know what happened on Earth. Maybe a very powerful containment has invaded. If we can figure out even a small part of the weapons of the Solidarity, it can help the Foundation." Quill, Drax, you can actually say something so philosophical. Drax, what are you talking about? I'm always philosophical. The Sicilian captain thought for a moment. I asked the other team members for their opinions. What do you think? At the moment, suddenly, a light screen appeared on the screen of Unity. Rocket and others were stunned. Leviathan. Rocket's pupils suddenly shrank. In the light curtain. Subtitles updated. Leviathan Anomaly Containment 169 is a very huge amount of marine arthropods, identified as the Leviathan passed down from generation to generation by sailors initially. The Foundation presumed that the object was the mythical Leviathan, but on data expunged, Mobile Task Force Gamma 6 detected anomalous containment 169 during an investigation of paranormal activity on the island of data expunged. The location of the islands has shifted at least 3 kilometers from the beginning. Camartage. The Ancient One's expression grew serious. Apparently, this Leviathan was just as she had imagined. Basically, it is the Leviathan that has been passed down from generation to generation among magicians. However, the Ancient One had never seen it move. If this Leviathan were the size of an island, so, will his size catch up with the Devourer of Worlds? Moreover, it is a divine container. The strength must be very strong. There were many large-sized containments before, such as immortal evil lizards, unclean ones, and metal monsters. They have all caused considerable damage to the world. What if this Leviathan is not a friendly containment? Well, I'm afraid this time it's going to be really difficult. After all, it is impossible for the girl Gia to degenerate Leviathan. The divine containment would probably not be affected by reality distortion. Earth, somewhere. Several members of the Chaos Insurgency. Holding a strangely shaped detector. On the ground, probing back and forth. After a while, one of them shouted excitedly, "This is it, we found it." Another person rubbed his hands together, who would have thought that such a terrifying existence was buried inside the earth. Ha 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 ha. Just at this moment, one of the Eternals, Homelander, is rushing towards this side. There was a blazing light in his eyes. A moment. Just annihilate those Chaos Separatist members. Then, he took a few steps forward. Kneel on one knee devoutly. He took a deep breath. And the things that are buried in the earth are named. The God Thiam. Chapter 134. Just as Homelander was intoxicated in his worship of the Celestials. Behind him, Gilgamesh came over. Homelander didn't seem surprised to see Gilgamesh. "Why are you here, Gilgamesh?" "It is true. You have been deceiving us all along." "No, I should say that the whole celestial god group has been deceiving us." "Cheating." There was no trace of guilt on Homelander's face. "The purpose of our Eternal's birth is to be loyal to the Celestials. When you came to this planet, you should have been prepared to sacrifice your life." "I am willing to sacrifice my life, but do you know that the birth of a god requires the sacrifice of the lives of the entire planet?" Gilgamesh grabbed Homelander's collar tightly with his strong hands. Homelander pushed him away. "The life on this planet was born because of the Celestials, and it is only natural that they died for the Celestials. They have lived for millions of years, which is enough." "Do you know what you are talking about? How can you treat human life like grass? We have lived for so many years, and have lived with humans and various creatures for such a long time. Don't you have any feelings for them at all? Emotions? Ridiculous. Being loyal to the Celestials is the meaning of our birth." "What? Are you against the Celestials? You are so unreasonable." Gilgamesh roared and rushed towards Homelander. Looking for death. The light from Homelander's eyes accurately hit Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh was blown away, but quickly got up. They fought till death was in the air. Above the light curtain. Subtitles continue to update. According to speculation, the body length of anomaly containment 169 is between 2,000 km and 8,000 km. This organism may have existed in the Cambrian period, and no other similar organisms have been found. The Foundation knows almost nothing about the habits of anomalous containment 169, such as its reproduction ability, food source, body structure, etc. FK, 2,000 to 8,000 km, that's a huge span? Is it because most of it is underwater? So it can't be observed. Oh my god, 8,000 km, what does that mean? I remember that part of the Devourer of Worlds body reached 200 km. That part should be its head, right? By this calculation, the Devourer of Worlds' height is about 8,000 km. So, they are about the same age? If the Devourer of Worlds comes out one day, will it fight with Leviathan? Ah, this better not happen. If two monsters thousands of kilometers tall fight, the earth will be torn apart. This is much more terrifying than Godzilla vs King Kong. Those two guys are only a few hundred meters tall. Wow, the first divine containment object is so terrifying. Moon. Loki looked at the information on the light screen and thought. 8,000 kilometers long, Surti is no more than that. If I could only get it to Asgard. As soon as this thought came to his mind, Loki shook his head. I don't think even the Foundation can contain this Leviathan. It would be better to use the lunar engine to threaten the Foundation and ask them to hand over the immortal lizard. Loki suddenly remembered. The Chaos Insurgency recently discovered a powerful entity buried deep beneath the earth. Loki knew that this was the group of gods that were about to be born. Back then, it was the powerful group of gods who came to Earth and drove Odin, Zeus, and a series of other gods out of the world of Midgard. If a new group of gods is born, life on the entire planet will come to an end. It seems that many big things are going to happen on Earth. I have to implement my plan as soon as possible. Loki looked at the engine that was ready again. He doesn't care about the survival of the Earth. Anyway, it won't affect him. Titan. Thanos looked at the light curtain grimly. A creature 8,000 kilometers long. Thanos' voice was filled with disdain. Among the creatures he had conquered, 8,000 kilometers was not considered a very large size. But for a planet like Earth where technology is extremely backward, That is the level of world destruction. The other side. Gilgamesh and Homelander fought for a long time. In the end, Gilgamesh was defeated. After all, Homelander is the most powerful Eternal. Homelander opened his arms. Gilgamesh, open your eyes and look at this world. Famine, war, greed, corruption. Is humanity really worth your life? You have to accept the reality. The god Thiam will be born. After saying that, the earth began to shake violently. Suddenly, Gilgamesh felt the powerful divinity deep underground. The heart of the god Thiam began to beat. Suddenly, Gilgamesh's blue turned extremely pale. Although he was brave, he understood. The god group is extremely powerful. But it is impossible for him to fight against the god group. Not even all the Eternals combined could do it. Is he going to watch the Celestials suck every life out of the earth? He is unwilling to accept this. Over the years, Gilgamesh has seen too much ugliness in the world. But he also saw the shining points of human beings. This race is qualified to survive. Gilgamesh staggered to his feet. Even if he dies, he will fight to the end. At the moment, an introduction about the Celestial God group was played on the light screen. Omitted here. No way. Leviathan is scary enough, and now there's a celestial being? Can it suck all life on Earth dry? Ah, the Earth is really going to be doomed this time. No, we still have hope. Leviathan might wake up and help us kill the Celestials. I don't think so. The Leviathan might be dead. My family lives near the Leviathan Islands. It has never moved in decades. On the screen, the picture began to play. At the moment, the earth was shaking violently. The ground cracked. A huge amount of heads with 6 eyes slowly appeared. This head is bigger than the mountain next to it. You can imagine how huge its entire body is. I'm afraid it's not much different from Leviathan. The strong earthquake made it impossible for Gilgamesh to stand. He had no choice but to flee far away. Otherwise, you will fall into the bottomless crack in the ground. The body of the god Thiam began to appear. He held out the huge amounts of his arm. From inside the crack in the ground, boiling magma erupted violently. Soon, Thiam's upper body was above the ground. Brought out a lot of magma. This scene is so spectacular. All over the universe. Inside the Unity. Rocket shouted excitedly, "Do you see it? The Earth is right in front of us. We only have 3 more jump points to get there." Chapter 135. Gilgamesh wanted to prevent Thiam from being born. If Thiam's body comes out completely from the ground, then the god apparition will begin. Life will be absorbed. But the magma brought out by Thiam's body flew all over the sky. It was like a meteor shower falling everywhere. It was very difficult for Gilgamesh to even dodge. And Homelander was very excited. "Great Thiam! You will be the new member of the Celestials. Suck the life out of this planet. Evolve into the ultimate Celestial." At this moment, Thiam was supporting himself on the ground with his arms. "Try hard to pull your body out." His crotch was completely out. At this moment, the people under the light curtain realized how huge Thiam was. Kamartaj. The Ancient One knows about the existence of the Celestials. She also knew that the Celestials were one of the most powerful races in the universe. But she didn't expect it. The Celestial gods showed up so early. According to the established timeline, Thiam will not wake up until 10 years later. Without saying a word, she opened the portal. The danger of the god group does not allow for a moment of hesitation. She directly opened the Eye of Agamotto. Once Thiam is fully revealed, then, it's all over. The Ancient One flew out of the portal, galloping across the sea of magma. Keep dodging the flying lava rain. She has opened the Eye of Agamotto. Now, she could have brought Thiam to a standstill at any time. The prerequisite is that she has to be close enough to him. Thiam was growing bigger and bigger in the eyes of the Ancient One. That huge metallic body gave off a strong sense of oppression. It is possible that Thiam did not even notice the arrival of the Ancient One. S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick's eyes widened. It's her. The female magician. She rushed towards that thing so persistently. Could it be that she has come up with a solution? Whenever the Ancient One appears, Nick will be surprised. Because he knew that Ancient One was very reliable. Unlike that simple-minded but strong-limbed Asgard urchin. Nick also sent Firth over. If anyone could fight a monster of this size, In Nick's heart, there is only Firth. At the moment. In the DC universe. Bruce Wayne is in the Batcave, looking at the images on the screen. His expression was very serious. I didn't expect that in another universe, there would be something so powerful. If this thing appeared in this universe. I'm afraid, for all Bruce has done for Gotham City. It's all meaningless. He took a deep breath. At the moment. He felt unprecedented worries and self-doubts in his heart. He is convinced now. The universe that I live in must also have creatures that are capable of destroying the world. Because he has been having nightmares recently. In his dreams, he always heard a name. Pattern Screamer. Although he didn't know what it was. But these 3 words made Bruce feel an instinctive fear. And the emotion of fear. This had never happened in the previous decades. This made him realize. This universe does not only exist in Gotham City. If you face a powerful enemy and have no countermeasures. Then, he can't protect anything. This made him make up his mind. No matter what the circumstances. As long as someone appears who can threaten this world. Then, Bruce will devise a plan to counter him. Bruce looked at the TV. The footage of Superman was playing. Bruce stared at the man in the red cape, surrounded by people. The hostility in his eyes grew stronger. In the light curtain. The Ancient One had reached sufficient distance. Right under his huge palm. The sunlight above is blocked. The Ancient One is ready to use the Eye of Agamotto. Suddenly. An evil voice appeared. People all over the world can hear this voice. Ancient One, stop using your little toys right now, or I'll make the moon collide with the earth, at the same time. Above the clear sky. The moon suddenly appeared. And it's getting bigger and bigger. Suddenly. The oceans have huge amounts of gravity. A strong tsunami was generated. Many coastal countries suffered. People were extremely panicked. The moon is constantly expanding in people's sight. This is the rhythm of a collision. Ancient One immediately stopped his actions and raised his hands. Stop. Seeing the Ancient One stopped moving. The evil voice laughed. Haha, very good. Now, I have one more condition. Foundation, immediately deliver anomalous containment 682, along with the containment chamber, to the location I specify. If you don't deliver it within 10 minutes, you will be exterminated along with the contained objects. Oh shit, I'm so scared, what's going on? Why has the moon become so big? Is it going to hit us? What should we do? That person obviously doesn't want the female magician to stop the god. If we don't stop the gods, the earth will also be destroyed. Is this destined? That guy is really crazy. How dare he ask for 682? Has he forgotten how terrifying 682 is? S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick was as anxious as an ant on a hot pot. FK, FK. What should we do? Is this another chaos insurgency? How did they manage to control the moon? Damn it. Fortunately Nick has no hair. Otherwise, you will be bald all at once. Even the gods can be stopped. What about the moon? Using 1000 nuclear bombs to blow that thing up would only be like tickling it. What's more, the nuclear bombs are long gone. Nick covered his face and sat on the chair. He couldn't understand why the Chaos Insurgency did this. What good would it do them to destroy the Earth? If the moon hits the Earth, there is no way they can survive, right? Also, why do they want 682? Forget it, never mind. Nick stood up. His eyes were extremely determined. He thought carefully. That female magician obviously wanted to do something to the gods. If only, she could stop such huge amounts of monsters. So, can she stop the moon from falling? The information about Leviathan has just been displayed on the screen. Apparently, Leviathan is sleeping right now. If Leviathan is awakened, it can be lured to fight against the gods. The female magician has a chance to stop the moon from falling. However, this plan sounds impossible to achieve. But, in such a desperate situation, there is only one choice but to give it a try. Nick straightened his clothes. Set off. Ancient One looked at the sky, at the huge moon that almost took up half of the sky. Her eyes were filled with anxiety. She understood that there was nothing she could do. Her most powerful weapon, the Eye of Agamotto, cannot be used. Now, she can only hope that the Foundation or someone else can help. But that's the moon. Is there really anything the Foundation can do? Asgard. Thor sighed. It seems that the world of Midgard is doomed. If the gods are not killed, the earth will be destroyed. If the gods are killed, the moon will also crash into them. The earth is really full of disasters. At the same time, he was very glad that Asgard did not encounter these containments. Hopefully, I won't encounter that again in the future. Odin, who was standing beside him, lowered his head, thinking. He always felt that the evil voice was very similar to Loki's voice. Moreover, the tone and voice were exactly the same as Loki's. But Odin still shook his head. Impossible. He saw clearly that day that Loki was trampled to death by the immortal evil lizard. Above the light curtain, 1 foot of the god Thiam has already stepped on the ground. He just needs to pull out the other leg and he can absorb the life on this planet. The moon in the sky is ready to go. The feeling of despair spreads. Everyone, it seems, thinks so. The end of the earth is today. Just at this moment. Outside the atmosphere. The unity is coming. Look, Quill, we're on Earth. Rocket shouted excitedly. Then. Rocket pressed the button. Huge amounts of guns stretched out from the emplacements. Aiming at the god Thiam on the ground. Stupid Celestials. Rocket licked his teeth, try Uncle Rocket's cannon. Chapter 136. The Ancient One felt something. She looked up immediately. Saw the unity from a distance. Her pupils suddenly shrank. She knew that the film inside was Guardians of the Galaxy. Moreover, they will do great things in the future. However, the Ancient One did not expect that they would actually send such huge amounts of spaceships over here. Not even Thanos has a spaceship this big. And, it seems, under the spacecraft, there are huge amounts of cannon barrels. Aiming at the god Thiam. Could it be that they want to? Ancient One was suddenly panicked. She didn't think the weapons on this ship could hurt Thiam. At the moment, the picture on the light screen turned to the Unity. All creatures in the universe saw the appearance of the Unity. Collector showed an extremely envious look on his face. The Collector is very knowledgeable about the goods. He has seen and even flown spaceships of most races in the universe. Compared with those extremely gorgeous spacecraft, the Unity cannot really be described as beautiful. But, Collector saw it at a glance. This spaceship is condensed with wisdom. A masterpiece that abandons all aesthetics and completely considers practicality. It is even a combination of the wisdom of different civilizations. The Collector almost eclipsed it. It was so amazing. I want it so badly, I want it so badly. The Collector's hand grabbed the light curtain. It was as if I could touch the smooth skin of the Unity. Titan. When Thanos first saw the Unity, he didn't pay much attention. But take a closer look. There were some waves in his heart. Because this ship is even bigger than Thanos' own ship. And it's several times bigger. Never mind how powerful this ship is. It is not easy to make such a large spacecraft operate. Thanos thought about it. In his impression, no other race could build a spacecraft this large. Including the Xandar. Could it be that it was made by the Asgardians who pursue ostentation? No, this ship is not fancy. The ship's turret was seen aiming at Thiam. Thanos immediately shook his head. He knew about the celestial god group. Extremely high physical strength. Even though this Thiam has not yet completed the divine appearance. That can't be solved by a spaceship. In the universe, there is a race that can compete with the gods. I'm afraid there are only observers. At the moment, Tony Stark, Nick, Banner and others came to the sky above the island where Leviathan was located. Tony saw the huge amounts of spaceship on the screen. I was stunned for a moment. He saw it at a glance. That spaceship has very advanced technology. At first, Tony was shocked, thinking that an alien race had invaded the Earth. But when he looked closely, he saw that it was aimed at the god Thiam. Could it be that the spaceship wants to get rid of it? Tony has great passion and confidence in technology. Especially after knowing the existence of the broken god. This spaceship might actually be able to hurt Thiam. Under everyone's speculation, the muzzle of the gun began to gather energy. The blue light becomes stronger and stronger. In a few seconds, boom! A beam of light shot out from the barrel. And at the moment Thiam, it has fully appeared. He felt the energy of billions of lives. He slowly opened his arms. Start absorbing life energy. At the same time, Blue light beams hit Thiam's head accurately. Suddenly, a cut appeared on Thiam's head. All the blue energy was poured in. Thiam took a stumbling step forward. Then he touched the wound on his head and looked up into the air. Ancient One's pupils suddenly shrank. Is it really that there is no effect? The next moment, Thiam seemed to be in great pain. He fell to the ground holding his head. With a loud bang, a deep pit was smashed into the ground. The surrounding mountains were shattered. Then, Thiam's body swelled rapidly. Due to excessive expansion, his skin started to crack. Blue light emerges from the cracks. The next moment, boom! Thiam's body exploded like a balloon. But, it's just like a balloon. This explosion looks particularly light. It did not cause much harm to the earth. People under the light curtain. I can't believe my eyes. Is this the end? The extremely powerful god was killed by a single cannon. Oh my god, isn't this spaceship too powerful? It's outrageous. It can even kill the Celestials. I never expected that. This isn't a Foundation ship, is it? No way. That shouldn't be the case. They have such a powerful spaceship, why didn't they use it earlier? Anyway, this spaceship helped us solve the world-destroying crisis. I'm now very curious, could this spaceship be driven by aliens? Tony couldn't believe his eyes. He didn't expect that the spacecraft could accurately hit the head of the ground target from such a distance. Moreover, the weapons used are beam-type weapons. This weapon is extremely difficult to aim. Also, Tony originally thought that the spaceship would use extremely powerful weapons to deal with Thiam. In this case, the Earth will inevitably be damaged. Just like Vegeta used medium-level flash against Cell. Although I was very careful, I still gave the Earth a middle part. Tony immediately became very interested in this spaceship. If he could get on board the spacecraft and study it, the knowledge he would gain would definitely be greater than what he would learn in his entire life. Think of this. Tony's breathing quickened. Nick next to him was in a completely confused state. It all happened so fast, so outrageous. His worldview was challenged over and over again. Inside the Unity, the Rockets shouted excitedly, "Yeah, baby!" He high-fived everyone. Captain Cecilia was more reserved at first. But he couldn't resist the Rockets' enthusiasm and responded symbolically. Rocket was very thankful that they had encountered a space worm before. And this spaceship is equipped with weapons specifically designed to deal with large creatures. It's this blue light. The captain of the Cecilia people couldn't help but sigh. Fellow countrymen in this universe or outside the universe. Although I don't know who they are. But, thank them for their supreme wisdom. This spaceship was built to help weak civilizations. Today, the Foundation has the honor of using it temporarily. Thank you very much. The Ancient One looked at the wreckage of Thiam in disbelief. However, her mood quickly turned to worry. She looked toward the huge amounts of the moon. The voice said that if Thiam was stopped, he would crash the moon into the Earth. If he really did that, only by destroying the moon can the Earth survive. Can that spaceship do that? That blue light might not be powerful enough. On the moon, Loki was incredible. He never expected it. This ship could kill Thiam, and do it so easily. 10 minutes have already passed. It seems that the Foundation has no intention of handing over the immortal lizard. It doesn't matter. Loki snapped his fingers, I'll get it myself. Huge amounts of gravitational anomalies appear behind the moon. In an instant, the moon crashed into the Earth. Seeing this, Rocket took a deep breath. He found the one he wanted from the rows of buttons. I'm sorry, Moon Baby. Rocket pressed the button, you have to die. Chapter 137. In the sky. The huge moon is approaching. Even the craters above can be seen clearly. Tony could only watch. Faced with such a world-destroying disaster, he could do nothing. We can only wait for fate to decide. Can that spaceship blow up the moon? Even if I can, will the Earth be affected? The Ancient One watched the moon approaching. She was not sure if the Eye of Agamotto could block the moon. But she always has to give it a try. Just as she was about to cast a spell, a hand grabbed her arm and stopped her. Ancient One took a look. It's the boy in the mask. There are already enough world-destroying monsters, there's no need to add another Dormammu. Qin Yu's tone was very calm. Ancient One looked very anxious, even if the spacecraft can blow up the moon, its debris will cause considerable disaster to the Earth. Qin Yu, even if this disaster happens, it is better than the coming of Dormammu. He looked at the spaceship in space. Trust in the solidarity, Ancient One. At the moment, under the Unity, a very mechanical-looking cannon barrel appeared. Then, it began to gather energy. A huge amount of white energy ball, wrapped in purple energy waves, grew rapidly. Then, with a swish, shoot towards the moon. Hit it with precision. Suddenly, the moon was destroyed by an incredibly powerful energy. In an instant, it began to collapse from the center. Just a dozen seconds later. Boom! Huge amounts of explosions. Destroy the entire moon. Rocket's heart was beating wildly with excitement. That's awesome, Unity, now. The debris of the moon is flying in all directions. The rocket wants to activate the automatic seeking missile to destroy the large debris. But, for a moment, he actually forgot which one it was. I was so anxious that I was sweating profusely. Quill's eyes lit up immediately. It must be this key. He pressed the blue button at once. The spacecraft sounded a prompt. The defense system has been shut down. Rocket yelled, Quill, you idiot. Next second. Boom. A piece of debris that is hundreds of kilometers long. It hit the hull of the Unity directly. Suddenly, huge amounts of vibrations occurred, causing everyone to fall to the ground. Quill, you deserve to die. Rocket tried hard to control the spacecraft. Now, the only option is to make an emergency landing on Earth. Those small fragments will be burned to ashes in the atmosphere. But those huge amounts of debris will certainly cause irreparable damage to the Earth. In case of emergency, the captain of the Cecilia people resolutely pressed the yellow button. Suddenly, above the spacecraft, huge amounts of heads of unknown monsters appeared. It looks like a blobfish, but it looks very scary. The monster's mouth opened wide. The next moment, thousands of small green missiles were fired from its mouth. Each large piece of debris was accurately located. Suddenly, countless brilliant green fireworks appeared in the space. The Unity is under the hard control of the rocket. Safely landed on the sea. The spacecraft came to a complete stop. Rocket let out a sigh of relief. At least, the crisis on the moon has been resolved. Pity. If the Solidarity's defense system hadn't been shut down by that idiot Quill, that big fragment will at most leave a scratch on the ship. Rocket walked over to Quill and patted him on the shoulder. Quill, you deserve to die. Quill covered his face with his hands, looking very annoyed. He didn't know why either. Just can't help pressing those buttons. It was as if he had been subjected to cognitive hazards. At the moment, the rocket had reached the upper deck. He looked around at the calm sea. When he saw the island in the distance, I was stunned for a moment. Isn't that Leviathan? The Ancient One stared blankly at the remaining green flames in the sky. Solidarity, she murmured. Qin Yu on the side smiled slightly. It was as if he had already foreseen this outcome. Unfortunately, the Solidarity was destroyed. It looks like it will take some time to repair. At the moment Loki looked full of confusion and anger. Why, the Foundation always gets such perverted things. Why is it? He never expected that the plan he had carefully planned would be successful. Failed so easily. He could not imagine that the god Tiam was killed with one shot. He could never have imagined that the Foundation could even blow up the moon. And there is not even any wreckage left. Damn it! Loki roared. At the moment, behind Loki, a man with extraordinary temperament and beauty that was difficult to tell whether he was a man or a woman walked towards them. Loki turned around and saw him. He was angry and purple energy gathered in his hands. The man smiled slightly. Mr. Loki, don't be nervous. I guess you just experienced an unpleasant defeat. I want to say that there are many unknown and terrifying existences in this world. What is Chaos Separatist? What is the moon? Looking at the man's fearless expression, Loki realized that this man was no ordinary person. Who are you? The man smiled slightly. I am Humi. The other side. Inside the gate to another world. Underground. That horrible abomination, the devourer of worlds. Open your eyes. At the same time, above the light curtain. Inventory of the top 10 divine anomalies 9th place. Chapter 138. Tony came to the place where the god Tiam died. He watched the city slickers cleaning up the scattered celestial wreckage. Tony sighed. The light curtain has been popularized. The Celestials are a powerful race and numerous in number. And if their newborn baby died tragically like this, they would definitely not let the Earth go. Tony picked up a random piece of the wreckage. It was only the size of a pebble, but Tony felt it weighed dozens of kilograms. This shows that its density is extremely high. Tony's eyes hardened. It's not that he was inspired by the will of the broken god. He felt that he must do something. Look at this wreckage. Tony determined. The god group must have weaknesses. Chaos Insurgency Headquarters. A high-ranking official wearing a hood stood at the window with his hands behind his back. The other person looked at him jokingly. Why, are you so sad about your failure again? The senior official immediately turned around and said, I told you long ago that you should be careful with your words. The other person spread his hands and said, I've said it before, you don't have to take winning or losing so seriously, even though you've never won against the Foundation. Senior official, you. Relax. This is nothing. Why are we working on making the world end? Isn't it because we have that thing? Senior official, so what are your plans next? It's simple. Let's just watch. The Celestials, Leviathan, which one can't destroy the Earth. We just need to sit back and enjoy their success. Oh, right. He stood up and stretched his body. As for that brat Loki and those people from the broken church, let me take care of them myself. The broken god must not come. At the moment. SHIELD agents stationed near Leviathan Island. Suddenly I felt a strong tremor. They were suddenly shocked. Looked toward the island. All I saw was the surroundings of the island. Huge amounts of waves are roaring in. Fortunately, the agents were on a submarine. Otherwise, you will definitely be in trouble. And the underground of the island. Magma bursts out. Nick's pupils suddenly shrank. Could it be that Leviathan is about to wake up? Why did it wake up at this time? The throbbing of Leviathan. Almost the entire ocean was directly affected. Including the coastal continent. Some island countries were directly swallowed up by the tsunami. Nick was shaking all over. Just a throbbing sensation. Has it caused such great harm? Nick really underestimated it. If it ever wakes up, it's definitely not less than the damage caused by Thiam. Moreover, the Solidarity had crashed. Who else can stop it? Above the light curtain. Inventory of Divine Anomaly Containment Objects 9th place Anomaly Containment 179 Star C Watch Object Class, Safe, crossed out, Thou Meal. Another Divine Containment Object has appeared so soon. Star C Lookout? It sounds like a very powerful god. What does this Thou Meal mean? It's another new level. It was safe before, what caused its level to change? This reminds me of the witch girl. I really have a bad feeling. Once other levels appear, it will definitely not be good. The trembling of the Leviathan almost destroyed several island nations. I think the divine containment objects in the future will only become more and more terrifying. The light screen mentioned the Supreme Godhead before. Ah, what a disaster. Description: Anomaly Containment 179 is a humanoid entity located 40,000 kilometers away from the south pole of the solar aperture circle, but it does not revolve around the sun. The latest records of Anomaly Containment 179 show that it seems to be rotating around the center of the Milky Way. After 43 years of observation, it was confirmed that the appearance of Abnormal Containment 179 is a human female between 20 and 40 years old. The entity's hair is over 34 kilometers long and is constantly blown by the solar wind. The hair is also made of this material. The entity's hair reflects sunlight, and there are multiple markings and symbols distributed along the entity's central axis. These marks were found to be the exclusive symbols of the 6 planets in the solar system in medieval alchemy. She looks like a human female, which means her body is about the same size as a human. Finally, she's not a monster that's thousands of kilometers long. Her hair is 34 kilometers long? Is that so exaggerated? Head and shoulders. Compared to her hair, her body is just like an ant. Could this Star C Lookout be a monster that uses its hair as a weapon? I'm more curious, a medieval alchemical symbol? Could it be that she was born in the Middle Ages? I wonder if she was originally an ordinary human being, and something happened to her that turned her into head and shoulders. Subtitles continue to update. Anomaly Containment 179 is extremely sensitive to all radiation in the electromagnetic spectrum. She is intelligent and can communicate in many ways. The recorded behaviors of Anomaly Containment 179 are all related to threats from outer space, all of which are alien celestial bodies that may collide with the Earth. And these celestial bodies are capable of causing CK-level reconstruction events and causing serious damage to human society. Anomaly Containment 179 will locate single and clustered celestial objects, and then point one arm at the celestial object. The entity will grow additional arms if necessary. Camartage. The Ancient One looked at the light curtain with some surprise. Judging from the current information, is this Star Sea Lookout a god who can warn humans of disasters? Could it be that this is really a kind refugee? Could the medieval symbols on her body mean that she is a medieval god? Is that why she is called Star Watch? Watching the stars for humans. Next, above the light curtain, the text disappeared, and in its place was a picture. See the Starry Sea Lookout. Everyone was shocked. Just see. Somewhere between the sun and the earth, hundreds of billions of hairs form a vast web, floating with the solar wind. That scene was incredibly shocking. Everyone couldn't help but hold their breath. The wonders of the universe are always extremely shocking. As the light curtain gets closer, a graceful woman appears. Exactly the same as described by the light curtain. She has various symbols representing the planets on her body. Such a scene made Thanos frown. If such a strange scene appeared in the universe, why, he never found out. Could it be possible that all these objects in custody could escape his surveillance? Thanos couldn't understand it even more. Why does this god want to protect weak humans? At the same time, her hair suddenly fluttered violently. She looked away. Then she held out her arms. Point in that direction. The Ancient One was startled. It means that an entity capable of causing CK-level reconstruction has appeared and is heading towards the Earth. Above the ocean. When Rocket saw this, he became extremely anxious. Why is there something coming to Earth so soon? He and others were repairing the Unity according to the robot's instructions. We must repair the Unity before that damn thing comes to Earth. He quickened his hands. The other side. The gate to another world. Underground. Boom. The final chain that binds the Devourer of Worlds. Break instantly. Suddenly. An extremely powerful tremor. Coming from the depths of the earth. Fortunately, reality anchors were placed all around. Otherwise, a large part of the earth will collapse. The Devourer of Worlds has awakened. He has some supreme divinity, and is disdainful and cruel to life. Climb out from the ground. He let out a roar. Suddenly, reality is torn apart. At the same time, a silver figure appeared in the light curtain. Everyone looked closely. It's the Silver Surfer. Chapter 139. See the person coming on the light curtain. Ancient One's pupils suddenly shrank. She knew that man was the Silver Surfer. If he shows up, then the Planet Eater will definitely appear. Suddenly, the Ancient One's expression became extremely serious. The power of the Planet Devourer should never be underestimated. In the zombie universe, the Planet Devourer's strength was greatly reduced because of its extreme hunger. And the Planet Devourer of this universe might be at the peak of its power. In that case, the Planet Eater is terrifying. In fact, the threat to the Earth is no less than that of Dormammu. Suddenly, the Ancient One felt it. There was a great malice that tore through space and came into reality. The Devourer of Worlds. At the moment, the light screen changed. All I saw was the temporary base of the Foundation. A monster that is over 1,000 meters tall and covered with scales. Climb out from the broken space. The agents in the base poured out their firepower. But, there is no effect. Even the reality anchors around it have no effect on it at all. I don't know, he didn't feel it, or he didn't care about the ants on the ground. It moves forward. Destroyed houses one by one. Definitely, it doesn't do that intentionally. The walls of the base are not even as high as its calves. As fragile as tofu dregs. The shockwave created by the Devourer of Worlds' foot stepping on the ground shattered the wall. Wanda arrived just in time. She yelled. There was a scarlet light flashing in his eyes. She tried her best. Origin magic power that will be able to distort reality. Bombard the body of the Devourer of Worlds. Suddenly, the origin magic power that can destroy almost everything spreads across the skin of the Devourer of Worlds. Like scarlet lightning. But the Devourer of Worlds remained unscathed. However, he stopped. It finally noticed the existence of an ant. It turned its head. He looked at Wanda, who was pouring out origin magic power. The moment its eyes met Wanda's, Wanda was immediately overwhelmed by the tremendous mental pressure. Her soul was instantly crushed to pieces. Wanda's body went limp, falling from the sky. Quicksilver caught Wanda just in time. Wanda. He was extremely anxious. He didn't expect the evolved Wanda. Just because the Devourer of Worlds took a look, he was completely defeated. He really wanted to fight the damn Devourer of Worlds to the death, but he knew that if Wanda couldn't do anything, then he would be even less able to do it. Shit, the Devourer of Worlds has awakened? It's over, this is truly the end of the world. Is there anything more despairing than this? Yes. Leviathan has also awakened, and the planet Devourer is coming too. Ah, I have to write my last words. In this situation, I'm afraid the Foundation can't do anything. Even that red-haired girl can't do anything about it. The Devourer of Worlds is truly too terrifying. The solidarity crashed. Otherwise, maybe we could have destroyed the Devourer of Worlds. Impossible, don't even think about it. Didn't you see that the Devourer of Worlds tore apart the real space? I don't think artillery weapons alone can hurt it. Nick Fury was shaking. He thought that the crisis would be resolved with the death of the god Tiam. Unexpectedly, Leviathan woke up. He thought this was the worst possible scenario. Unexpectedly, the Devourer of Worlds has also awakened. It doesn't wake up early or late. I woke up in the worst possible situation. Foundation, what else can you do? Are we going to move out Zhao Zena and the little witch girl? Or, that extremely powerful spear? He watched as the Devourer of Worlds advanced without regard for anything. It doesn't care about anything. Just like, no one cares about the ants on the roadside. Unless, an ant catches its attention. It didn't even bother to step on the ant. Just because, it doesn't care at all. Or, is it impossible for mortals to understand God's thoughts? But it doesn't matter. The Devourer of Worlds wants to destroy something and wants to let go of something. None of it has anything to do with humans. At the moment, Firth arrived. She released a powerful wave of light towards the head of the Devourer of Worlds. Straight into the eyes of the Devourer of Worlds. And the Devourer of Worlds simply closed his eyes. The energy slammed violently onto the eyelids of the Devourer of Worlds. Not a single trace was left. Perhaps, if the Devourer of Worlds had not closed his eyes, he would not have been hurt. Maybe he just felt sick. Then, the Devourer of Worlds glanced at Firth. Firth felt the same mental pressure as Wanda. Moreover, Firth's body was not protected by the origin magic power. And her physical strength, in the eyes of the Devourer of Worlds, no different from humans. Firth fell straight to the ground as if he had been shot. With a bang. Fell heavily to the ground. The Devourer of Worlds raised his foot. He stepped towards Fuss. Suddenly, dozens of kilometers in radius, the ground collapsed instantly. Dust was flying all over the sky, like a sandstorm. Obviously, the ant Firth disgusted the Devourer of Worlds. The Devourer of Worlds didn't care whether the kick killed Fuss or not. Move forward again. Nick's pupils trembled violently. My lips were trembling. He knew Firth's strength best. Ronan's interstellar fleet was destroyed by her in an instant. Even, Nick thought, Fuss is the most powerful being in the universe. But, unexpectedly, face the Devourer of Worlds. How could this be? He had thought that the Devourer of Worlds was very powerful. He also thought that the Devourer of Worlds might lose. But he never expected it. Firth was completely crushed. This is simply a difference in the strength of world views. Is this the real God? There was despair in Nick's eyes. He immediately sent an agent to rescue Firth. The other side. Silver Surfer, at great speed, arrived on the Earth. He stayed in the air, observing this planet. Then, he began to read out his self-righteous declaration. Indicates that the planet is about to be swallowed by the planet Devourer. Just when he was halfway through reading, his voice stopped abruptly. He looked up suddenly. I felt an extremely powerful presence. This shocked him immediately. Obviously this planet is very weak. Why do such powerful creatures exist? Silver Surfer could feel it. That creature's strength is definitely no less than that of the planet Devourer. There was a look of fear in his eyes. He had never thought about it. There are beings in the universe that can rival the planet Devourer. Just as he was thinking, the Devourer of Worlds had come behind him. Silver Surfer was stunned for a moment. Just because of fear. He didn't even notice it. Silver Surfer's instinct told him to run. But it's too late. The Devourer of Worlds grabbed the Silver Surfer. Then, constantly apply force with your hands. Squeezing Silver Surfer's body. Silver Surfer cried out in despair. The next moment, he was crushed to death. Silver liquid splashed everywhere. It must be the Silver Surfer's bodily fluids. After killing the Silver Surfer, the Devourer of Worlds looked up into the sky. The Planet Eater is very close. At the same time, above the ocean, Leviathan seemed to let out a silent roar. It stood up. Huge amounts of islands are only a small part of its body. Suddenly, huge waves surged and the earth shook. Leviathan is born. Its huge body moved forward on the sea. That is exactly the direction of the Devourer of Worlds. Chapter 139. See the person coming on the light curtain. Ancient One's pupils suddenly shrank. She knew that man was the Silver Surfer. If he shows up, then the Planet Eater will definitely appear. Suddenly, the Ancient One's expression became extremely serious. The power of the Planet Devourer should never be underestimated. In the zombie universe, the Planet Devourer's strength was greatly reduced because of its extreme hunger. And the Planet Devourer of this universe might be at the peak of its power. In that case, the Planet Eater is terrifying. In fact, the threat to the Earth is no less than that of Dormammu. Suddenly, the Ancient One felt it. There was a great malice that tore through space and came into reality. The Devourer of Worlds. At the moment, the light screen changed. All I saw was the temporary base of the Foundation. A monster that is over 1,000 meters tall and covered with scales. Climb out from the broken space. The agents in the base poured out their firepower. But, there is no effect. Even the reality anchors around it have no effect on it at all. I don't know, he didn't feel it, or he didn't care about the ants on the ground. It moves forward. Destroyed houses one by one. Definitely, it doesn't do that intentionally. The walls of the base are not even as high as its calves. As fragile as tofu dregs. The shockwave created by the Devourer of Worlds' foot stepping on the ground shattered the wall. Wanda arrived just in time. She yelled. There was a scarlet light flashing in his eyes. She tried her best. Origin magic power that will be able to distort reality. Bombard the body of the Devourer of Worlds. Suddenly, the origin magic power that can destroy almost everything spreads across the skin of the Devourer of Worlds. Like scarlet lightning. But the Devourer of Worlds remained unscathed. However, he stopped. It finally noticed the existence of an ant. It turned its head. He looked at Wanda, who was pouring out origin magic power. The moment its eyes met Wanda's, Wanda was immediately overwhelmed by the tremendous mental pressure. Her soul was instantly crushed to pieces. Wanda's body went limp. Falling from the sky. Quicksilver caught Wanda just in time. Wanda. He was extremely anxious. He didn't expect the evolved Wanda. Just because the Devourer of Worlds took a look, he was completely defeated. He really wanted to fight the damn Devourer of Worlds to the death, but he knew that if Wanda couldn't do anything, then he would be even less able to do it. Shit, the Devourer of Worlds has awakened? It's over, this is truly the end of the world. Is there anything more despairing than this? Yes. Leviathan has also awakened, and the Planet Devourer is coming too. Ah, I have to write my last words. In this situation, I'm afraid the Foundation can't do anything. Even that red-haired girl can't do anything about it. The Devourer of Worlds is truly too terrifying. The Solidarity crashed. Otherwise, maybe we could have destroyed the Devourer of Worlds. Impossible, don't even think about it. Didn't you see that the Devourer of Worlds tore apart the real space? I don't think artillery weapons alone can hurt it. Nick Fury was shaking. He thought that the crisis would be resolved with the death of the god Tiam. Unexpectedly, Leviathan woke up. He thought this was the worst possible scenario. Unexpectedly, the Devourer of Worlds has also awakened. It doesn't wake up early or late. I woke up in the worst possible situation. Foundation, what else can you do? Are we going to move out Zhao Zena and the little witch girl? Or, that extremely powerful spear? He watched as the Devourer of Worlds advanced without regard for anything. It doesn't care about anything. Just like, no one cares about the ants on the roadside. Unless, an ant catches its attention. It didn't even bother to step on the ant. Just because, it doesn't care at all. Or, is it impossible for mortals to understand God's thoughts? But it doesn't matter. The Devourer of Worlds wants to destroy something and wants to let go of something. None of it has anything to do with humans. At the moment, Firth arrived. She released a powerful wave of light towards the head of the Devourer of Worlds. Straight into the eyes of the Devourer of Worlds. And the Devourer of Worlds simply closed his eyes. The energy slammed violently onto the eyelids of the Devourer of Worlds. Not a single trace was left. Perhaps, if the Devourer of Worlds had not closed his eyes, he would not have been hurt. Maybe he just felt sick. Then, the Devourer of Worlds glanced at Firth. Firth felt the same mental pressure as Wanda. Moreover, Firth's body was not protected by the origin magic power. And her physical strength, in the eyes of the Devourer of Worlds. No different from humans. Firth fell straight to the ground as if he had been shot. With a bang. Fell heavily to the ground. The Devourer of Worlds raised his foot. He stepped towards Fuss. Suddenly. Dozens of kilometers in radius. The ground collapsed instantly. Dust was flying all over the sky, like a sandstorm. Obviously. The ant Firth disgusted the Devourer of Worlds. The Devourer of Worlds didn't care whether the kick killed Fuss or not. Move forward again. Nick's pupils trembled violently. My lips were trembling. He knew Firth's strength best. Ronan's interstellar fleet was destroyed by her in an instant. Even, Nick thought. Fuss is the most powerful being in the universe. But, unexpectedly. Face the Devourer of Worlds. How could this be? He had thought that the Devourer of Worlds was very powerful. He also thought that the Devourer of Worlds might lose. But he never expected it. Firth was completely crushed. This is simply a difference in the strength of world views. Is this the real God? There was despair in Nick's eyes. He immediately sent an agent to rescue Firth. The other side. Silver Surfer, at great speed. Arrived on the Earth. He stayed in the air. Observing this planet. Then. He began to read out his self-righteous declaration. Indicates that the planet is about to be swallowed by the planet Devourer. Just when he was halfway through reading. His voice stopped abruptly. He looked up suddenly. I felt an extremely powerful presence. This shocked him immediately. Obviously this planet is very weak. Why do such powerful creatures exist? Silver Surfer could feel it. That creature's strength is definitely no less than that of the planet Devourer. There was a look of fear in his eyes. He had never thought about it. There are beings in the universe that can rival the planet Devourer. Just as he was thinking. The Devourer of Worlds had come behind him. Silver Surfer was stunned for a moment. Just because of fear. He didn't even notice it. Silver Surfer's instinct told him to run. But it's too late. The Devourer of Worlds grabbed the Silver Surfer. Then, constantly apply force with your hands. Squeezing Silver Surfer's body. Silver Surfer cried out in despair. The next moment. He was crushed to death. Silver liquid splashed everywhere. It must be the Silver Surfer's bodily fluids. After killing the Silver Surfer. The Devourer of Worlds looked up into the sky. The planet Eater is very close. At the same time. Above the ocean. Leviathan seemed to let out a silent roar. It stood up. Huge amounts of islands are only a small part of its body. Suddenly, huge waves surged and the earth shook. Leviathan is born. Its huge body moved forward on the sea. That is exactly the direction of the Devourer of Worlds. Chapter 141. Two giants are about to meet. No one knows why Leviathan attacks the Devourer of Worlds. Perhaps, God doesn't need a reason to do things. However, Leviathan only fully awakened from the ocean after the Devourer of Worlds was born. Is this just a coincidence? I think Leviathan must be hostile to the Devourer of Worlds. Otherwise, why would it run towards the Devourer of Worlds as soon as it woke up? Then why didn't it come out when Thiam woke up? Maybe Thiam isn't strong enough? After all, Leviathan has been sleeping for so long, it needs something extremely powerful to wake it up. That makes sense. It looks like the containment has to be dealt with by the containment. But Leviathan seems hopeless no matter how you look at it. The Devourer of Worlds is too terrifying. I doubt that even if the Unity didn't crash, there would be no way to deal with the Devourer of Worlds. No matter what, Leviathan is our last hope. Maybe it's a warrior protecting the Earth? It will wake up when there's danger. In the light curtain, Leviathan is very close to the Devourer of Worlds. In the eyes of two people, they all revealed immense anger. They rushed towards each other. Suddenly, the waves were surging wildly. Boom! The two monsters clasped their hands together. The powerful pressure caused the air to vibrate, roll, and condense, and produced a series of tornadoes. There were lightning and thunder in the sky. The two huge monsters just collided. It created a scene that seemed like the end of the world. The Ancient One and her apprentices used all their strength. Prevent these tsunamis and tornadoes from spreading. Otherwise, if these two monsters keep fighting, the Earth will be destroyed. But they are really too powerful. On the forehead of the Ancient One, huge amounts of sweat beads appeared. This is especially true for the students. Stephen Strange gritted his teeth and said, "No, Sorcerer Supreme. We won't be able to hold on for much longer if this continues. Hold on, don't give up." Ancient One encouraged others. But she felt increasingly exhausted. Energy is stimulated, strong winds, tsunamis. An extremely powerful pressure came roaring in, and each wave was stronger than the last. This is the battle between gods. Those who suffer are often mortals. Just at this moment, the Ancient One felt it. An extremely powerful energy is approaching rapidly. The next moment, Wanda appears. She unleashed a powerful origin magic power. Reinforced the barrier released by Ancient One and others. Wanda roared, pouring out her power. The Ancient One looked at her. The scarlet light in her eyes was brighter than ever. It seems that Wanda has evolved again. Keep going like this. Wanda will soon be able to grow to the point where she can destroy all the mutants in the universe with just one sentence. But at this time, she couldn't be distracted. Both monsters tried their best. It can be clearly seen on the light screen that Leviathan is still much smaller than the Devourer of Worlds. The energy collision generated by the wrestling between the two caused the air to explode constantly. Unexpectedly, the scene that can only be seen in anime appeared in reality. After a while, Leviathan felt overwhelmed. He was pushed by the Devourer of Worlds, constantly retreating. The Devourer of Worlds roared. Increased power. Leviathan also resisted desperately. But they were still forced to retreat. Nick's heart skipped a beat. At first, Nick thought that Leviathan would be killed instantly by the Devourer of Worlds just like the Devourer of Planets. However, he was able to wrestle with the Devourer of Worlds, which surprised Nick. But now, it looks like we're going to lose soon. Is Leviathan too old? Nick thought to himself. If it were an island, then, it is very likely that it already existed when the Earth was first created. Well, it's pretty old. Even for gods. But there is no other way now. I just hope that Leviathan can create a miracle. DC Universe. Officer Gordon's heart skipped a beat. The most powerful being he had ever seen was Superman. But, these two monsters, are definitely as powerful as Superman. At least that's what Gordon thought. Moreover, he felt deep sympathy for this universe in the light curtain. There are so many monsters there, and each one is more terrifying than the other. In comparison, Joker looks cute. Gordon prayed silently in his heart. I hope that there will never be any abnormal containment objects in this universe. Leviathan was forced to retreat continuously. It roared. The voices very vicissitudes. It raised its head. Hit the Devourer of Worlds' head with all your might. Boom. The Devourer of Worlds just shook a little, nothing serious. Then, the Devourer of Worlds grabs Leviathan's arm. Give him a headbutt. Suddenly, stone fragments flew everywhere. Leviathan fell into the ocean with a loud bang. There was a big dent in his head. Leviathan struggled to get up. But the Devourer of Worlds had no intention of letting him go. He grabbed one of Leviathan's arms. Her foot was on his belly. Roar. Suddenly, the sound of stones breaking could be heard. The rocks on Leviathan's arms keep falling off. Boom. Large amounts of rebel waste. Leviathan's arm was torn off alive. Oh no, Oh my god, no. Leviathan's arm was ripped off. It's over. It's really over now. The Devourer of Worlds is too powerful. Come on, Leviathan, you are our last hope, don't fall. A child cried heartbreakingly. Shine the flashlight towards Leviathan in the light curtain. The Devourer of Worlds exerted too much force and lost his balance, so he took a few steps back. Take this opportunity. Leviathan stood up. Try your best. Raise your other arm. It smashed hard on the head of the Devourer of Worlds. Suddenly, the scales on the head of the Devourer of Worlds fell off. There were also large claw marks on the exposed skin. Leviathan injured the Devourer of Worlds. This immediately caused cheers from the people under the light curtain. But the next moment, the Devourer of all Worlds' forehead began to recover rapidly. Even the fallen scales grew back. The Ancient One looked at the Devourer of Worlds in amazement. She seemed to be having an illusion. The expression of the Devourer of Worlds. It's a mockery of Leviathan. The other side. The rockets are still working hard to make repairs. Damn it. It's too late. This Devourer of Worlds is damned. It also has a self-healing function. This is too much. We are really too late. I say, we should just leave here. Quill looked at the Devourer of Worlds with fear in his eyes. This thing cannot be defeated. Run. Rocket laughed bitterly. Our spaceship crashed, and now the Unity has crashed too. Where else can we run to? His expression grew serious. He knew that his only hope was to defeat the Devourer of Worlds. He took a deep breath. Everyone, start repairing the main weapons immediately. His eyes were sharp. Screw the spaceship, the weapons we need are enough. In the light curtain, the Devourer of Worlds grabbed Leviathan's other arm. Pull hard. Pull it off. Then, he grabbed Leviathan by the upper and lower jaws. Try your best to break it. It wanted to tear Leviathan's head into pieces just like that. Chapter 142. Leviathan struggled desperately. But to no avail. Both of his arms were torn off. The corners of his mouth had begun to tear. And it is gradually expanding. If this continues, his head will soon be torn in half. Wanda was extremely anxious. She raised a hand. The powerful origin magic power blasts towards the head of the Devourer of all Worlds. But the Devourer of Worlds' head just shook a little and was not seriously injured. Due to the distraction, the barrier was nearly broken. Wanda quickly reapplied her strength to the barrier. Otherwise, tsunamis and strong winds will destroy everything. Leviathan's mouth had been almost completely torn open. Green viscous liquid gushed out from Leviathan's mouth. Just a few seconds. Levi's head will be torn apart completely. It will die too. But it looks like the situation can no longer get better. Leviathan's arm is gone. He can only wait for death to come. At this critical moment, just before Leviathan's head was about to be torn apart, a red-orange light. It hit the back of the Devourer of Worlds with precision. Boom! The violent explosion formed an extremely huge fireball. Ancient One quickly activated his magic. Absorb the excess energy. The Devourer of Worlds at this moment. The back of the head has been completely blown apart. Inside, there were extremely strange, complex, and twisted things that resembled internal organs. He was seriously injured. Stood there in a daze. Rocket yelled excitedly, "Oh yeah, the ultimate weapon. Take my hit, you damn Devourer of Worlds." The back of the Devourer of Worlds' brain has begun to heal. But he still couldn't move. Take this opportunity. Leviathan shook his head desperately. With a click, its jaw was ripped off alive. The green blood gushed out again. However, it also broke free from the constraints of the Devourer of Worlds. Take this opportunity. Leviathan roared. Take a few steps back. Then charge. Crash violently towards the Devourer of Worlds. Boom. Gravel was flying. The Devourer of Worlds was knocked down. Leviathan took this opportunity and pressed forward desperately. It's like a huge mountain. On his body, huge rocks began to grow. Gradually wrap up the Devourer of all Worlds beneath him. The back of the Devourer of Worlds' brain only has a little bit left to recover. But it's too late. His wounds were also filled with extremely hard rocks. It can never heal again. That is to say, his consciousness can't recover. That's all. The rocks constantly expand. Finally, an extremely huge mountain range was formed. The Devourer of Worlds was sealed inside. The other side. Rocket's heart was pounding. He jumped up excitedly, die. Devourer of Worlds. Take my shot. Gamera looked above the solidarity. The cannon barrel emitting thick black smoke. She suddenly collapsed to the ground. What if this shot fails to fire? Then it's all over. I have to say. The rockets are really bold enough. The Unity's remaining energy is enough to fire only this one shot. And fortunately, Leviathan has the ability to seal the Devourer of Worlds. Otherwise, wait for the Devourer of Worlds to recover. It's still useless. The captain of the Cecilia people breathed a sigh of relief. As a top agent, his heart just stopped beating. Too thrilling, too extreme. He looked at Rocket on the other side with appreciation. When the captain first met Rocket, he thought he was just a grumpy raccoon. But now it seems he is the most qualified person to be the captain of Guardians of Galaxy. In the light curtain, Wanda's lip trembled. She stumbled toward the Leviathan. She could feel it. Leviathan's vital signs are gradually disappearing. Leviathan opened his eyes with difficulty. Looked at Wanda. Wanda held out her arms shakily, caressing Leviathan's body. She could feel it. Leviathan, full of love for her. This kind of love is like that of a mother to her child. Wanda's eyes turned red. Tears started flowing down my cheeks. So. Wanda sobbed, her voice trembling, so, you were fighting with your dying body. As soon as these words came out. Suddenly. Under the light curtain. The crowd was originally celebrating and cheering. It became quiet in an instant. What? So, Leviathan was already on the verge of death? But she still managed to wake up and fight the Devourer of Worlds to the death. Wow, I'm sorry, I want to cry for a while. It turns out that she is really fighting for the lives of the people on Earth. She felt the threat from the Devourer of Worlds and forced herself to wake up. It turns out that the reason she stopped doing activities for so many years is that she is about to die. Wivu, please, there's no way to save her? I don't want her to die. In the light curtain, Wanda unleashes the origin magic power, desperately trying to maintain Leviathan's vital signs. But, in the eyes of Leviathan, the light gradually disappeared. Her vital signs. It also stopped completely. Wanda was stunned. The magic was taken back. In the last moments of Leviathan's life, Wanda heard her words. Goodbye, my child. Wanda covered her face and cried. The eyes of Leviathan. She gently closed Leviathan's eyes. OMG. Stark building. Tony turned his back. Rhodes, who was standing by, saw that Tony's back was shaking slightly. Why, tough guy Tony, are you crying? No. Tony wiped his eyes quickly, the wind is too strong and the sand made my eyes squint. How can there be any wind with such a tight window? Tony, I must take a picture of this scene and post it online so that people can see how a billionaire cries. Rod, you inhuman BD. Tony turned around, are you not moved at all? Tony saw that Rod's eyes were red. Aha! Tony pointed at his eyes, you also. I didn't sleep well last night. Rhodes argued. Asgard. Thor didn't know why, but ran back to his room. And Odin. He stared blankly at the light curtain. Years of fighting have made his heart as a rock. It also makes him think that he is the most powerful god. But saw Leviathan today. This made the extremely proud Odin feel extremely ashamed. His understanding of God. It was him, or a god like Zeus. Powerful, but selfish. After so many years of fighting with all kinds of powerful gods and monsters, Odin believes that greed is a quality that every powerful being must possess. A great, selfless god. It can't exist. But, after seeing Leviathan, Odin's worldview was shattered in an instant. He never expected it. There actually are gods in the universe who are willing to dedicate their lives to other species. Except to describe it as great. Odin couldn't find a better word. This also made him extremely ashamed. He will have to think about this carefully in the future. What does the word God mean? On the light curtain. The picture disappears. Subtitles appear. The Old Man of the Turbid Sea, a letter left by Leviathan. Chapter 143. DC Universe. Leviathan sacrificed himself to seal the devourer of worlds. Diana was also deeply moved. This spirit also inspired her. No matter how desperate the situation, no one should give up hope. Definitely. In her heart, she also praised Rocket, Ancient One and others. They are also heroes. Without the magical barrier of the Ancient One, the Earth would have been destroyed in the battle between the two gods. If the Unity had not severely damaged the Devourer of Worlds at the critical moment, Leviathan will not achieve ultimate victory. This made her curious. Who on Earth built a spacecraft as powerful as the Unity? She became even more curious. Leviathan's life experience and origin. Next, the content appeared on the light curtain. Gave her the answer. I remember the warmth, and that's the first thing I remember. There is light there too, the light of dying stars. That warmth is hard to describe, not as cold as this place. This is, the letter left by Leviathan? What does it mean? So, Leviathan can talk? It turns out it's an intelligent creature. I'm more curious, how did the Foundation get this letter? It can't be written by Leviathan herself, right? Could it be, translated into her language? So, the Foundation has communicated with her. The first thing she remembers? The moment she was born. There are beings like me out there. We are large creatures, so we don't live in a place crowded with rocks. Our home is not filled with stone, but with warm softness, with the quiet light of a star that has found its place. I was told that when we first got there, the star was still young. An old man claimed that he still remembered how it spoke. But I didn't believe him. What does that mean? Why can't I understand? Isn't this too abstract? Its home is filled with warmth and softness. What is warmth and softness? Where to reach? Where is that? What is the old man? Ah! The thoughts of gods are really hard to understand. Do they all like to tell riddles so much? All I understand is that they are large creatures, which means they don't live on a rocky planet like Earth. There's no room for them. But warm softness and light? What do they mean? We spent a lot of time as children, but we can't recall it rationally, even though our caregivers told us it was fun. But, definitely, you didn't come here to know this. You want to know, what is our purpose, what am I here for? There is a seed inside each of us, it will evolve, and the process of reproduction is very complicated. I am afraid you cannot understand it. We can control this evolution, and many tribes take pride in the complexity and beauty of their creations. If I understand correctly, doesn't that mean that Leviathan is a race, not just an individual? Moreover, they can create things. I suddenly remembered. You said, there is also a possibility that we are her creation? So when the Devourer of Worlds wakes up, she is determined to protect us at all costs. Wow, this is the most reasonable explanation. They can make complex creations, doesn't this mean, life? Yes, and it can reproduce. Unless something else, something other than life, can reproduce. I really think I understand. Some people choose not to let the seeds grow. They are unwilling to give up the glory of traveling in space for a career like a gardener. But the rest of us know what must be done, so we plunged into the cold void. Those who left would never return. No songs would sing of their achievements, and they would never be heard of again. We searched in the void and the cold. It was a long, impossible mission. I stumbled upon a stone that looked promising, so I decided to take a chance. Before I could rest in the ocean, the flames burned me, but I could not escape. This was the mission I chose. The seed burst and life emerged. Some of the life emerged from me and found its way to the water, but most of it remained within me. I will eventually die. These huge amounts of impact shorten our lifespans. But everything will change, over. I understand now. Leviathan found the ancient Earth and gave birth to life, which then evolved and eventually thrived on Earth. We are also the product of evolution. She is so great. She is the mother of all life on Earth. I can't take it anymore. I think of her reluctant look before she died, and I want to cry again. Some people choose not to let the seeds grow, but the rest of us know what to do. That's mission. S.H.I.E.L.D. The article about the old man of the turbid sea moved Nick Fury deeply and made his blood boil. He once doubted himself and did not understand the meaning of his existence. I have also been desperate. But, from now on, he will always remember the name Leviathan. And the spirit it represents. After some time. On the light curtain. Subtitles appear. 10 Divine Anomaly Containment Objects, Number 8. Chapter 144. In a pub. All the members of Guardians of Galaxy and the Cecilia people were drinking happily. They are celebrating this great victory. Quill's face flushed, and he boasted to the other guests, "You have no idea how brave I was this time. I pressed the key button twice. Hiccup. Quill took another big gulp of wine. Without me, hiccups. Nothing that happened later would have happened at all, ha 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 ha." The other side. Rocket sat with the captain of the Sicilians. "Captain, what are your plans for the future?" "Plans? Actually, we don't have any plans at all. We just do good things on various planets." Rocket took a sip of wine. "Yet, believe me, it's really good things. In that case, you might as well join us and continue doing good things on Earth. You know, our Foundation really needs driving geniuses like you." The captain said immediately. "Definitely." He added, "It's not about you joining the Foundation, it's just a partnership. What do you think?" Ha ha ha. Rocket laughed a few times. These past few days, the things that have appeared on Earth are really scary. To be honest, I don't know how I survived. And there will be 8 or 7 more divine containment objects appearing on Earth. Rocket took another sip of his wine. "If I stay any longer, I'm afraid my life will be in danger. Besides, we are used to freedom." The Rocket's meaning is already very clear. The captain felt very sorry, but it was not easy to force him to stay. Okay. The next day, the Guardians of Galaxy arrived at the wreckage of the Unity, which was undergoing repairs. They walked in. Found the small craft. "Drive it out." This spacecraft is one of the backup spacecraft within Unity. Although it is a small spaceship, that is also smaller than the Unity. This ship is almost twice as large as the previous Guardians of Galaxy ship. Moreover, in terms of performance and firepower, they are much stronger than the original spacecraft. Thanks to Guardians of Galaxy for this time. Giving them this spaceship is not too much to ask. After saying goodbye to everyone, the Guardians of Galaxy boarded the spacecraft. The captain of the Cecilia people watched the spaceship disappear into the sky. In the air, Rocket stretched and yawned. He still had a hangover from yesterday's drinking. This seat is so comfortable. As expected of something on the Solidarity, it always makes people feel so comfortable. By the way, I should secretly dismantle the largest cannon and take it away. That way, the captain will definitely be scolded by the boss of the Foundation, ha 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 ha. Rocket smiled and patted his thigh. "Oh, now I remember, the boss of the Foundation has turned to ash." He looked at the vast universe outside the window. Suddenly I felt a little confused and sad. I don't know why. He thought of his animal friends who had been transformed in the past. He shook his head and put the negative emotions behind him. "Everyone, where do you want to go next?" The Rockets tried hard to get excited. But no one responded to him. This made him somewhat embarrassed. "Hey, guys!" Rocket yelled again. Still no one responded. He suddenly felt strange. Are the others asleep? He looked back. Just see. Everyone. They were all surrounding Groot. In Groot's hand, he held a paper box. The top of the box. A blue origami creature is dancing. Everyone in the crowd was fascinated by the creature. Rocket was stunned. What is this? He also came over. Take a closer look. That origami creature. It's a flying dragon. There are 3 words on the box. The dragon is here. Somewhere in the universe. On an extremely huge planet. It was extremely dark, damp, and sticky there. Symbiotes. Like a wave, it surges everywhere. The planet has been completely covered by the symbiote. They seem to have gotten used to this kind of life. If it were an ordinary person, just one glimpse of these twisted evils, you will have a mental breakdown. Between these waves of symbiotes, a huge figure, a pale, extremely thin man, surrounded by symbiotes. Rising slowly. His face. It was covered only by a layer of pale skin. There is no nose bridge and no lips. My hair looked as if it hadn't been washed in 10,000 years. He raised his head and looked towards the dark planet. The only light. The dragon is here. Chapter 145. Stark Building. Underground. Tony looked at the huge metal object in front of him, which was several hundred meters in size. This is a model of armor made from the remains of Thiam, specifically designed to deal with the Celestials. At the moment, it's just a framework. Tony hasn't decided what to put in it yet. After all, ordinary artillery fire cannot hurt the powerful God group. Solidarity can do it. That's because Thiam is only in his juvenile form. If he were a complete form, it would be impossible for him to be so relaxed. Yes, solidarity. Tony clapped his hands. The solidarity holds many secrets. If Tony could do the research, then, the Unity will definitely be able to tap into more potential in the future. And maybe Unity can provide him with ideas for anti-God armor. Just do it. Tony packed his bags and prepared to leave. SHIELD spacecraft. In the room. Ding, congratulations on completing the inventory of the abnormal containment object, Star Sea Lookout, and obtaining 1 trillion transmission points. You have received an additional reward, Anomaly Containment, Qin Dynasty Spaceship. The next moment. A pong sound. An enormous bronze spaceship suddenly appeared next to the SHIELD spaceship, blocking out the sky. Nick's face almost turned pale with fright. He took 2 steps back, his legs went weak, and he almost fell to the ground. It's not that he's timid. Such a strange monster suddenly appeared. Anyone would be surprised. Moreover, the recent containment objects are so powerful and terrifying. Nick thought that this thing was the next divine containment object. He has PTSD. All of a sudden, all the weapons on the SHIELD spacecraft were aimed at the bronze battleship. Nick took a deep breath and picked up the intercom. Unknown intruder, state your name and your purpose. Qin Dynasty Spaceship. The Qin Dynasty Spaceship is a spaceship built of bronze and gears from the time of the first emperor. It is not the same object as Anomalous Containment 580. The system is doing scientific popularization seriously. 1,000 horses were galloping through Qin Yu's heart. Why are you here all of a sudden? How am I supposed to drive back? He thought to himself. He began to think about countermeasures. At the same time, he remembered a collection that he had forgotten for a long time. Speaking of which, it's time for that Doraemon to take out something good, or I'll have to punish him with a mouse. Above the light curtain. Subtitles appear. Inventory of Divine Anomaly Containment, Number 8 Anomaly Containment 1762. The dragon is here. Object Class, Safe, Crossed out, Neutralized. Description, Abnormal Containment 1762-1 is a flat cardboard box, file size is 32x20x26 cm, the top and outside of the box are silver, and the words "Here is the dragon" are written on the lid in an indelible marker inside of Anomalous Containment 1762-1, empty when not in the release phase. 1762-1 will occasionally open automatically, releasing Anomalous Containment 1762-2. During this time, the box will briefly emit black smoke that will quickly dissipate. Anomaly item 1762-2 will appear approximately 20 seconds after the smoke disappears. 1762-2 appears to be a paper model. The SHIELD spacecraft is desperately chasing the bronze battleship. It was Qin Yu who was controlling the battleship, preventing the SHIELD spacecraft from catching up or falling too far behind. In this way, we can drive back to the Foundation base smoothly. This is thanks to Qin Yu's ability to control the containment he obtains. Saw the information of the new containment. Nick's heart tightened. He immediately turned his attention to the light curtain. Another safe level that was crossed out. Nick's Adam's apple moved. The same is true for the Star Sea Lookout that appeared last time, but she has not shown any abnormal behavior so far, and she pointed out the location of the planet Devourer last time. From the current point of view, she is a safe containment object. Is it the same with this dragon? Nick took a deep breath. If something as terrifying as the Devourer of Worlds appears again, there is no Leviathan on Earth. Camartage. The Ancient One saw the point. Here is the dragon, a moving paper model. Even the main body is just a paper box, but it is a container for divinity. The Ancient One thought about it. The paper model will appear from inside the box, and the box is very small. Could it be that there is a mystery inside the box? Suddenly, Ancient One thought of a possibility. She seemed to understand. The true meaning of the dragon is here. In the light curtain, the new Guardians of Galaxy ship suddenly appeared. This startled the captain of the Cecilia people. They just left and they encountered the containment. Is this lucky or unlucky? Did this thing originally exist in the Unity and was taken out by them? Or did it just appear after they left the Earth? In the spaceship, members of the Guardians of Galaxy are happily playing with the origami dragon. The dragon flew to the tip of Gamera's nose, and then to Drax's bald head. It made everyone laugh. That's all. Had fun with everyone for a while. The paper dragon flew back into the box. Rocket immediately crawled over and squinted at the crack in the box. Hey, where did it go? Quill held up "Here comes the dragon" and shook it a few times. But nothing came out. Rocket couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. It won't ever come out again, will it? Some time passed. Just when everyone gave up hope. Suddenly, the paper box began to shake. Then, something popped out quickly. Everyone was suddenly delighted. Take a closer look. Not the dragon from last time. The dragon has a long body, a pair of horns and 4 legs. It floats lightly in the air. Dancing up and down is very beautiful. Everyone started playing with it. Sometimes they played hide and seek, sometimes they played chasing games. So happy. Hiss. This containment doesn't look like a dangerous containment at all. I think so too. Isn't it just a cardboard box and some cute little dragons? Yes, and these people played with it for such a long time, and nothing bad happened. Could it be that this containment is a safe containment? Like 999? It's hard to say. 999 is completely safe, but the safe of this object has been crossed out. Although it doesn't mean it's dangerous, it at least shows that it's definitely not as simple as 999. Next, the yellow dragon is the same as the previous one. He played and joked with everyone, then crawled into the box. Disappeared. The crowd gathered around again, waiting to see if any more paper dragons will appear. Really? Same interval as last time. Several dozen minutes passed. Something came out again. This time, it was a green, small dragon-like creature. Same. It also played with the folks at Guardians of the Galaxy. This dragon is the most lively one. And not very flexible. Flying freely on the huge spaceship. Bumping around. Snap. It smashed a very hard lampshade. The light suddenly dimmed. Drax wanted to reach out and grab it. But the dragon's body is very slippery. Drax couldn't catch it. Moreover, it treats this chase as a game. Deliberately waiting for Drax and the others. Wait until they are about to catch him, then slide out. In the process of chasing, the rocket fell to the ground with a thud. He also tripped Drax behind him. The others behind were all focused on the origami dragon and didn't notice the 2 people falling to the ground. They are like dominoes. All fell down. See this scene. The origami dragon fluttered up and down, covering its belly with its wings. Seems to be laughing. This scene also made the audience under the light curtain laugh. Ha ha ha, I'm dying of laughter. This little dragon is really naughty. Haha, the way these people fall is so funny. But they are so happy. I want to play with the little paper dragon, too. Woohoo, it's so cute. This is even more demolishable than a husky. It's amazing. It's made of paper, but it's so strong. It smashed the light bulb, but it wasn't scratched by the glass at all. Foundation base. A spacious room made entirely of natural materials. The girl Gia sat inside. Her pretty face flushed slightly with excitement. The little tail was wagging happily. She was depressed most of the time at the base. After all, she has a past that she cannot bear to look back on. But this paper dragon made her feel genuinely happy. Forget all the worries. But when she saw what happened next on the screen, the smile on his face disappeared instantly. The tail stopped wagging. There was a hint of fear in his eyes. Chapter 146. Just see. The green paper dragon. He rushed into the burning fire pit. Logically speaking, with the technology of this spacecraft, a fire pit is not needed for heating. But everyone has some romanticism in them. Therefore, this kind of ancient object was installed on this spacecraft. No. Rocket was shocked. You know. This is an origami dragon. It's made of paper. If you are stuck in the fire, how can you survive? Suddenly, the people under the light curtain were stunned. They just fell in love with this cute little guy. Is it going to be burned to ashes? Why are beautiful things always fleeting? The other members of the Guardians of Galaxy were also stunned. Objects made of paper will disappear in a flash in the fire. It's too late to rescue. Drax yelled. No. Little guy, I won't let you die. He rushed towards the fire. Just at this moment, something unexpected happened to everyone. The green origami dragon rushed out from the fire. And unharmed. Drax was stunned. He was absolutely certain that the origami dragon had indeed been engulfed in flames. It's okay? Wow, I was scared to death. This little thing is so naughty. It's fine even after being burned by fire. I think it must be more than just an origami dragon. In fact, we all overlooked that we are now taking inventory of the divine objects in our possession. This origami dragon, maybe it is a god. No way, is this true? Just now, many origami dragons came out. Are they all gods? Camartage. There was a hint of disbelief in the Ancient One's eyes. Actually, if you simply make an origami object resistant to fire, even a beginner magician of Camartage can do it easily. But, the Ancient One felt it. This origami dragon is real origami. No magic or illusion was cast. This just shows how special this dragon is. Ancient One guessed. That paper box is definitely not simple. There must be a lot of mystery inside. Although, she didn't know what exactly it was. Not long after, the green dragon also went back in. Several dozen minutes passed. A pink dragon appears. This cycle repeats itself over and over again. Each time a dragon appears, its color, shape, and personality are different. But they were all very friendly and curious. That's all. The Guardians of Galaxy played with these paper dragons. I don't care where I drift to. For several days. It's all like that. Just when everyone thought the dragon is here, and it will remain so until the paper dragon is created. Something unexpected happened. Ever since the last paper dragon went in, no dragon ever appeared again. Suddenly, the Guardians of Galaxy were very anxious. All of a sudden, something must have happened. But they don't know the reason either. Everything is okay with the box. The words "the dragon is here" are printed on it. Rocket paced back and forth. He looked very anxious. Why don't they come out again? What happened? He picked up the box. He squinted his eyes and looked into the gap above the box. But, I can't see anything. He shone his flashlight inside. But it was still pitch black. This made him even more depressed. But there was nothing he could do. You can't just tear the box open, can you? That's all. All members of the Guardians of Galaxy had no time to do anything else. They were all waiting anxiously. Will there be another dragon coming out? This kind of mood. The people under the light curtain felt the same way. Just as they were lying on the ground board. Suddenly, the box is throbbing. Brush. Everyone jumped up from the floor. They surrounded him like hungry wolves pouncing on their prey. Stare at that box. After a while, nothing came out. The box only trembled slightly. Finally, a while later, a blue dragon was born. Suddenly, the members of Guardians of Galaxy are ecstatic. Ah, it finally came out. I thought something had happened. It's okay. I thought I would never see the cute little dragon again. Fortunately, nothing happened. But why did it take so long for it to come out? Wait. Did you notice that this dragon looks very tired? Now that you mention it, it seems a little bit. Compared to the dragon that appeared before, this dragon is not lively at all. Yes. He has been walking on the ground and doesn't want to fly. S.H.I.E.L.D. At this point, Nick can basically conclude. This here is the dragon should be a non-threatening containment object. Because, it currently does not show any harmful effects. After these few days. Although I don't want to admit it. But Nick also kind of likes these origami dragons. After all, a harmless and adorable containment. It's better than something that can destroy the world, right? Nick looked at the somewhat tired paper dragon. He concluded that something must have happened before. All the secrets are in that box. Think of this. Nick frowned. Inside that box, there won't be anything bad, right? Thinking like this, he became nervous again. In the light curtain, everyone could see it. The origami blue dragon was a little tired. But Quill was still yelling. Aha, aha. He constantly tossed the azure dragon up and down. Hey, Quill. He's very tired, let him go. Rocket said helplessly. Oh, okay. Quill put the azure dragon on the ground. Just see. The dragon crawled towards the box. The Rockets looked a little worried. He doesn't know. What exactly happened? What's wrong with you? Rocket leaned over. Looking at Qinglong worriedly. Qinglong stopped. He flapped his wings a few times. Then. There were a few words on his back. Goodbye, my friend. Then, the azure dragon flapped its wings. Fly back into the box. Rocket was stunned for a moment. Goodbye, friend. Groot, I am Groot. Gamera, he considers us friends, but why is he saying goodbye? A long time passed again. Same as before. No dragon appeared. Everyone had no choice but to continue waiting. Finally. After a period of waiting. Another dragon appears. This time. It turned out that it had appeared before. That one is the most naughty. The liveliest green dragon. All I saw was half of its body. Already wrinkled. Suddenly. Everyone's heart skipped a beat when they saw this. It fell directly to the ground. Rocket held it up carefully. What happened? Are you hurt? At the moment. Rocket saw the words on her back. I'm sorry, my friend. We can't let them come over then. The green dragon flapped its wings a few times. Just didn't move at all. Rocket was stunned. Chapter 147. Hey, little guy, are you tired? The green dragon didn't react. Rocket touched him gently a few times. He also didn't react. Suddenly. Rocket's eyes trembled violently. It was like a bolt from the blue. Drax's lips trembled. It is dead. His eyes were full of disbelief. This green dragon. But it's his favorite one. Foundation base. The girl Gia in the room. Tears immediately started flowing. She couldn't believe it. A beautiful thing just disappeared like that. No, he's like this, why? He was fine before. Now, we can be sure that something must have happened inside the box. No, from now on, all the dragons that appeared before will die one by one, right? No way? That's too cruel. I thought this was a heartwarming object. Rocket tried to give Xiaolong CPR. But. For the real world. It's just an origami dragon. So, there is no effect. Rocket slumped to the ground helplessly. He recalled the days when he was being reformed. In prison. He met animal companions who were just like himself. They are all modified semi-mechanical animals. They became friends. But, we had originally planned to escape from this hell together. Rocket could only watch his companions die one by one under the cold muzzle of the gun and could do nothing. This powerlessness and despair. Exactly the same feeling he had at the moment. Suddenly. Rocket clenched his fists. His eyes were extremely determined. He couldn't let this tragedy continue. Back then, he couldn't save his friend. Now. No matter what, he would not give up these new friends. But he is not a brainless person. You can't shoot this box with a gun, can you? Now, all he can do is analyze. I can't let them come over here. Rocket thought to himself. These words were written on the little green dragon. The Rockets think. They can communicate through these words. The words on the previous dragon can be understood as it needs to do something urgently. So, I went back in a hurry. Combined with the green dragon's words, we can't let them come over. Can it be understood as? Were they attacked? These dragons should be a group. It is possible that there is a world inside this box. And their world has been invaded. This is a very reasonable guess. But, now the question is. Even if this were true, he had no way of entering this world. There is still too little known information. Rocket forced himself to calm down. He took a deep breath. He pointed his mouth towards the top of the box. What happened in your world? Can you tell us? Rocket didn't know whether the dragon inside could hear these words. But he had no choice but to give it a try. A long time passed. No response was received. Suddenly. The box began to throb. Rocket stood up immediately. Just see. Inside the box. Several things spurted out. Take a closer look. These are dragons that have been crumpled into paper. From the color point of view, all of them are paper dragons that have appeared before. What happened? Why are they all turned into paper balls? I was just about to ask why 3 dragons appeared at once, but I didn't expect it would turn out like this. They have all turned into paper balls, which means they have already. Oh, how pitiful. Is there any way to save them? If this continues, all these dragons will really die. Rocket suppressed his sadness. He picked up the paper balls. After the paper dragon died, it really turned into ordinary paper. Can be easily torn and folded. Rocket spread them out. Really? Each piece of paper has some words on it. Sorry, my friend, we have to stay in our world. Something happened. Rocket unfolded another ball of paper. Imagination is waning. Our power is waning. The giants came to our world before, but now, we are alone. Rocket's eyes widened. He seemed. What did you realize? He quickly opened the last piece of paper. The Titans and the Twisters are extremely evil and very stupid. We cannot allow them into your room. We will fight until the last moment. Rocket looked up. He seems to understand. Camartage. Ancient One suddenly understood. All this was exactly as she had guessed. And it became coherent. Imagination can increase their power. The lack of imagination makes them gradually weak. Giants are probably the product of imagination. Compared to these origami dragons, these humans are giants. Will it be? And the Titans and the distorted things are probably the things that invaded their world. Moreover, they also want to enter this room. The room should refer to the human world. They have to keep these things in the box. Otherwise, the human world will suffer. The Ancient One understood. Inside here is the dragon, probably a world made up of imagination. They, perhaps, are also products of imagination. Moreover, these imaginations are definitely related to human beings. Just as Rocket was thinking. Thick smoke suddenly billowed out of the paper box. Fortunately, the exhaust system on the Unity sucked away the smoke in time. Otherwise, the entire spacecraft was about to be filled with smoke. Next, several burning balls of paper suddenly flew out from the thick smoke. Everyone rushed over quickly. Put out the fire. Rocket quickly picked up the burning wreckage. It can be clearly seen that this is an origami dragon after burning. Rocket unfolds the paper ball. Saw the writing inside. See you. The writing was burned, imagination of the little giant. The words on the other burned paper dragons were no longer legible. At the moment, the handwriting on the paper also changed. Here the dragon is becomes here the dragon was. Camartage. Just as the Ancient One was pondering the meaning of the burnt words, Stephen Strange walked over. Sorcerer Supreme. Regarding this dragon, a legend suddenly occurred to me. What legend? This legend is about the dream catcher. An old man who can fly, specializes in collecting children's dreams, and uses these dreams to create another world. Omitted here. Ancient One suddenly had an idea. Little giant, imagination. Could this little giant be referring to a child? Can their imagination help the creatures in this world of dragons? If that's the case, well, this discovery is amazing. Maybe the world can be saved. Although, this is not within the Ancient One's scope of responsibility. But, after going through so many shelters, some of the Ancient One's views have also changed. At the moment, inside the Guardians of Galaxy spaceship, suddenly, a mechanical sound was heard. We have connected to the world of where the dragon was. Would you like to enter? Chapter 148. The dragon was here and the dragon was here. What does this mean? Are all those origami dragons really dead? They are fighting to protect their homes and to prevent monsters from invading reality. They are risking their lives. What if we can do something? The news brought by those origami dragons at the risk of their lives, about imagination. The point is, we all have imagination, how can we help them? Yeah, they say imagination is gone, but the problem is we can all imagine, right? I think, this imagination, could it be referring to faith? Hey, the above person makes a lot of sense. In the movie called Clash of the Titans, the setting is that the more people believe in God, the stronger God will be. Will this be the same? We need to believe in it. That's not right. So many people like origami dragons, and everyone hopes that they can win the war, but it's useless, right? Camartage. Ancient One and Strange are thinking of countermeasures. How can I help those origami dragons? They have a more thorough understanding of the concept of imagination. In fact, imagination can be seen as a very, very small force that distorts reality. Children's imagination is often the strongest. But now the question is, how to connect the two worlds? Let the world's imagination capture your imagination. Can it help another world? At the moment, Strange was suddenly startled. He felt something coming. He turned quickly. Holding the rune shield in both hands, "Who?" The Ancient One said without turning back, "Don't be nervous, Strange, he is our friend." Qin Yu ignored Strange and walked over. "I guess you are thinking about how to help those origami creatures. This is really incredible for a sorcerer supreme who is dedicated to his duties. No matter which world we live in, life is precious. Actually, I don't have any good solution. That damn blue fat guy won't take out the good stuff. In this case, we have no way to connect the two worlds. But, I can project what you want to say on the light screen so that the whole world can see it. In that case." Ancient One pondered. The next moment, Qin Yu saw the contents on the light screen. "Well, it seems that there is a way to connect the world. Excuse me, do you want to enter the world of Here is the Dragon?" The rockets immediately recovered from their daze. He felt it was incredible. Unity is amazing, isn't it? A channel that can connect two worlds? Which great god built this spaceship? Never mind, no time to think about it. Enter. Everyone, let's go. Let's go save our origami friends. Everyone picked up their equipment. The interior of the light curtain. The sky was shrouded in darkness. The little remaining light is still struggling to hold on. There were lightning and thunder in the sky. There are all kinds of monsters in the darkness. Giants, monsters, vampires, dark goat kids, zombies, dragons, and more. All the evil creatures that have appeared in movies, TV shows, or comics are here. They attack the remaining light in dense and dark masses. And in the light, the dragons are fighting desperately. Some of them have huge amounts of wings and are covered in scales or feathers. Some have only very short wings, but extremely long and strong limbs. With one slap, the zombies turned into minced meat. They are the same as those origami dragons. Each has its own merits. In the most eye-catching, it is a dragon hovering in the air, covered with white scales and having deer antlers. It spews out flames and drowns the enemy with waves. Apparently, he is the leader of all dragons. They are very brave. But, the number of enemies is too great. Moreover, they can never be killed completely. After killing one batch, another batch comes. What's more, there are some very powerful ones among them. At the moment, in the darkness, a red-eyed titan picked up a stone from the ground. Smashed violently towards the light. Boom! A dragon without wings. He was hit on the head immediately. Suddenly, brain matter splattered everywhere. The giant picked up another stone. Smashed it into the air. Suddenly, the white dragon couldn't dodge in time. Was hit hard. With a bang, the white dragon was knocked over and somersaulted in the air. Several white scales on the body fell off. Suddenly, in the darkness, an extremely huge black dragon roared and rushed towards the white dragon. There was a purple light in his eyes. A fierce purple flame spewed out of his mouth. The white dragon quickly retaliated with flames. The black dragon rushed to the white dragon with scorching flames. His head was burned by flames, but he showed no fear. He stretched out his claws and grabbed the white dragon's skin, which was not protected by dragon scales. The white dragon roared. "But, I can't break free. He has expended too much energy. Moreover, I lost a lot of weight due to injuries." A pink dragon sees a white dragon in danger. He immediately flapped his wings and rushed towards the black dragon. But, the next moment, an extremely strong red light pierced the pink dragon's body. Dark place. Smoke is coming out of Mechagodzilla's mouth. It was the same blow it had just delivered. In the air, the black dragon's claws constantly penetrated deep into the white dragon's body. Suddenly, blood gushed out. The claws even pierced its internal organs. At this extremely critical moment, the light suddenly spread. Occupies half the sky. The next moment, Rocket and others, who are several hundred meters tall, appear. They came to this fantasy town. Rocket raised his gun and loaded it. The corners of his mouth turned up. Hell yeah! Chapter 149. He fired dense bullets at the black dragon in the air. The huge bullets carried high temperatures and smashed towards the black dragon like a meteor shower. In an instant, the black dragon turned into meat paste. Next, the rockets began to fire wildly. Ha 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 ha, ah ha ha ha. Suddenly, there was a hail of bullets. Large swathes of monsters were being harvested like pieces of leeks. Blood of all colors gushed out. The ground looked like a rainbow river. All kinds of internal organs and body parts are floating on it. Wow, they really went in. Just in time. The white dragon was almost killed. This white dragon comes from our mythology, Smita. The unity is so amazing. It can actually connect to the channel between two worlds? Oh my god, I now suspect that it can break the dimensional wall. I think that, compared to connecting the two worlds, the fact that the unity almost killed the devourer of worlds with one shot is more outrageous. Anyway, these dragons are what the origami dragons really look like. Ah, so exciting. But it's a pity that we can no longer see what the little green dragon really looks like. The one upstairs, please stop using the knife. They become so big in there. So, is this what giants mean? And what does imagination mean? Except for Rocket, everyone else also had a great time killing. Because, they are attacking from a lower dimension. Therefore, there are many enemies on the dark side, but not enough for them to kill. Until that extremely powerful feeling of oppression came over me. Suddenly, in the dark side, countless extremely powerful characters appeared. Spot, Frisia, Abyss, Dark Zaki, Poros, Part, and so on and so forth. There are hundreds and thousands of them. They have a strong sense of oppression, attacking everyone. Their strength is not equal to that in the original work. Otherwise, Frisia could destroy the entire world by himself. But, they are still extremely powerful. At least they won't be easily eliminated by Rocket and others. Big beads of sweat appeared on Rocket's head. Damn it, what kind of monsters are these? Why did they suddenly become so strong? Suddenly, Dark Zagi fired out terrifying energy rays. The space around began to distort. Groot quickly released a large number of branches as a shield. Boom! A powerful energy exploded. Groot's two arms were instantly destroyed by dark energy. At the moment, the barrel of the rocket was red hot and had overheated. There are few bullets left. Damn it, we're going to lose if this goes on. At the moment, above the light curtain, a line of words appeared. Now, everyone. No matter who you are, please let your imagination run wild. Your wishes will definitely be conveyed to another world. Suddenly, people under the light curtain. Put your own faith. Your own passion. Release it all at once. These imaginations are twisted into a rope. Slightly changed the Hume index in reality. This force is connected through unity. Spread to the world of the dragon is here. At the moment, in the light curtain, Dio opened his arms, the world. Time was suddenly paused. He walked slowly in front of the crowd. Oh, I didn't expect that. He held the flying darts and aimed at Rocket's head. The enemies in this world are so weak. He was just about to throw the flying darts. The action stops instantly. Suddenly, cold sweat broke out on his forehead. See who's coming. He was suddenly shocked. Chapter 150. It's you. Dio looked at the person who came in shock. His forearm was tightly grasped by a powerful big hand. The man was dressed in pure black and had an unusually strong figure. This person is Jotaro. Dio, I didn't expect that we would meet again. Star Platinum appeared behind Jotaro. No matter how many times you revive, I will still kill you. Humph. Dio smiled slightly. Jotaro, I'll give you the same words back, that's all. The two people's stand-ins began to fight fiercely. That's all. Also, see this scene. The dark side suddenly felt something was wrong. They attacked more fiercely in an effort to quickly take down the light side. But, just at this moment, a white light flashed in the air. Suddenly, countless figures of justice appeared. Many Ultramen rushed towards the group of monsters. Light release. Optimus Prime roared, Autobots, charge! Suddenly, the Autobots rushed towards the Decepticons. Morix waved his hand. The extremely sharp stone spear fell down like a meteorite. It caused a devastating blow. For the Alliance. For the tribe. Ionia is vigorous and unyielding. Almost everything that people love and can imagine. It all appears here. The two sides started a fierce battle. For a moment, there was no clear winner. At the moment, Mechagodzilla suddenly became extremely huge. An extremely fierce beam of light came out of its mouth. Boom! Suddenly, a large number of light-side characters were wiped out by lasers. The situation reversed instantly. Ah, why did it suddenly get bigger? Could it be that these villains are also made up of imagination? Just malicious imagination. It's possible. Perhaps a malicious imagination can enhance the power of a villain. That's why Mechagodzilla has grown so big. Now, the good guys are in a disadvantageous position. We must find a way to get rid of Mechagodzilla. Mo saw this scene. He stared at Mechagodzilla who was beating and killing people. He closed his eyes and muttered silently. I will go out in Gundam form. In an instant. In the light curtain. A very tall, white Gundam with a pair of wings appeared. Suddenly. There was an exclamation under the light curtain. That Gundam, under Mo's control. In his hand, an extremely huge sword materialized. It spread its wings wide. Suddenly. Rushing towards Mechagodzilla at an extremely fast speed. The energy released from the body formed an incomparably gorgeous rainbow-colored flame. It raised its great sword. Brush! He chopped down towards Mechagodzilla's head. A moment. Godzilla was split in half. Awesome! Instant kill. Good job. Great. Now that Mechagodzilla has been killed, we've definitely won. Go ahead, everyone, keep your imagination going. Just when everyone was happy, Dark Zaki suddenly burst into laughter. Very creepy. He looked into the distance, at Nexus who was fighting hard. Noah, it looks like you won't show up. Ha ha ha, what a pity, you can't witness the great gift I have given to this world. Suddenly. Dark Zagi roared. The terrifying dark force formed an extremely huge black hole. A moment. All the monsters around. They were all attracted here. They were threatening. It turned into a twisted thing. Dark Zaki's voice became extremely deep and distant. He seemed become one with these monsters. Suddenly. An extremely huge and twisted monster appeared and soared into the sky. He has no limbs, head, or body. Thousands of mouths of different shapes and sizes. Tens of thousands of twisting monster limbs. It formed such a horrible thing. It is extremely plump. It squirms its huge body and moves towards the one of light. The moment this monster appeared. Suddenly. A powerful mental pressure made the heroes present feel weak. This power can actually weaken imagination. The people under the light curtain also felt dizzy. Suddenly. The heroes present gradually became smaller. See this situation. Gundam and White Dragon rushed towards the monster. The White Dragon spewed out green flames. Gundam swung his giant sword. But this monster can't be hurt at all. The monster roared. Suddenly, terrifying energy surged out. Blow the Gundam and White Dragon away. Bai Long fell to the ground. Gasping for breath. It was seriously injured. It's impossible to continue fighting. It is the last dragon in this world. If it dies, this world will forever be a place where dragons once were. Ah ha 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 ha, ah ha 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 ha. The last dragon. If I kill you, this world will come to an end completely. The monster marched towards the light with unstoppable steps. It doesn't even have to do anything. That horrible mental pressure. It is enough to make the surrounding heroes perish. Even some villains that aren't strong enough. Also affected. Gradually shrink and then disappear. The heroes gathered around the White Dragon. Defend with all your might. However, the number of heroes is constantly decreasing. This monster is really too powerful. Under the light curtain. A little boy holding a magic wand. He watched as Tiga was held in the monster's hand and his body was constantly shrinking. His lips trembled and tears flowed. He raised the magic wand in his hand. Hold on, Tiga. Suddenly, the magic wand emitted a dazzling light. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you are notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.